podcast. So, has anyone done the Necromancer with the new season in D3?
What?
No, okay. So, hey guys,
let's get started.
Yeah. Right.
Intro.
Oh, we don't have the OG. Okay. Hey guys, Tarke here with Baeclast number 11. Today we're joined by Lifting and Pohx because Ziggy D is busy being a pirate and trolling us from chat. Today we're going to be talking Density, Atlas, API, League stuff, expansion stuff, speculation, and every other topic under the sun. What has everyone been up to? Pohx, hit us off.
So I've been playing a Trapper of recently. No, I'm just kidding. I've been playing Righteous Fire pretty much since the end of beta and the beginning of this league. Mainly just because they did a pretty big nerf to Energy Shield, and I was playing a low life RF before. And I've kind of been really trying to play life builds without using a life flask, because then you get, like the full advantage of like the full the full utility flasks. And it's been working out pretty well so far. I'm pretty happy with it.
Nice. I've been what have I been doing? Oh, I played BV Obliteration, and then it got really boring after that. And then I rerolled Cyclone, and I realized that it's basically the same thing. You put on a thing and you spin, and it's not different gameplay at all. So I'm kind of disappointed with that. I have to roll something new. Maybe Righteous Fire Scorching Ray or something. I've seen Carve play that. It seems really cool.
It's really strong right now.
Yeah, it's really
I'm curious about your situation, Raiz. When you've gotten 100 now in solo self-found, that's been your goal. You've put so much effort into it, and you did get it. How does that feel afterwards? Like, do you feel like motivated to just keep, or do you want to do it again, or how do you feel, or do you just want to take a break?
Do I want to do it again? Getting level 100 outside of a race, I can't ever imagine. No. It's just, at least from like a streamer perspective, because I think it's just really boring. Because you have like so little time to talk to people, really, if you want to be efficient. Otherwise, you're going to take forever. And then in terms of like a league start, I don't think I'm ever going to try like this hard. Because last ladder, last reset, my goal was to like get there, right? So I was like, okay, I'm sleeping 8 hours a day. I'm playing a lot. I'm trying to be efficient, but I'm sleeping. I'm functioning. This time around, we went full retard, and I was sleeping 2 hours a day for like the first 10 days. It did not feel good, and I'm still feeling the repercussions. Like yesterday, a friend called me, and they're like, hey, come on over. You got to help me out with something real quick. I'm like, oh shit, that's an emergency. All right, I'm gonna go. So I helped them out with like, lifting a couple things and moving them around and shit. I went on the couch. I fell asleep at 6 p.m. for 7 hours and like woke up in the middle of the night on this guy's couch. I'm like, whoa, okay, guess I'm still tired from the 100 push.
Your body's still so sleep deprived.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's been like 2 weeks already, maybe. Yeah, almost 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so,
12 days. Yeah.
How does it feel then when you create a new character now? Like, how do you set up a new purpose for you?
Oh, it's the same thing as it's always been. Just trying out things, testing the new patch stuff.
Yeah,
it feels pretty good. I mean, mapping's not. I'm kind of at this stage where I like get to maps and everybody's always like kill Kitava now, and I don't want to kill Kitava. I'm just kind of farming around and shit because I know as soon as I kill Kitava, I'm like yesterday I had that realization or the day before because I got to maps and I was like, oh shit, I got a map now. Fuck, that's boring. So instantly in my head I was like, oh, I gotta reroll something else. So that's kind of a problem. But testing out things and just having fun. Speedrunning I can always do, some commentary stuff.
Have they said anything about races? Do we know anything about that?
Lol, like what the fuck kind of question even is that? Like what?
Really?
It's gonna be like last time where it was like I had all these plans and everything in real life, and then GGG was like, hey guys, races tomorrow. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Yeah, GG they always do that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, seems good. So what about you, CuteDog? What have you been up to?
Oh, just playing some softcore action, mapping a lot. It's funny because I remember before the league started, maybe it was like right before, I was on Raiz's channel and then Raiz was looking at new unique items, and then the Coming Calamity popped up, and I was like, trash item, so bad. And Raiz was like, no, actually, this is a good item for auto bombers. This is amazing. And I was like, this guy's so dumb. This
Everybody
guy
talking
is
shit about
so
me.
dumb. And
I'm
then
like,
I was like,
"That's good."
yeah. And then afterwards, because I never played an auto bomber, right? And then like afterwards, I was like, huh. I saw like the Tempest binding, and then I played auto bomber for like 2 weeks. And it was a whole lot of fun. And now I'm doing Wander. So yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm having a lot of fun. The new changes have really rejuvenated the league for me. Like usually I stream for like 4 or 5 hours, but after the changes, I'm streaming for like 7, 8 hours because I just want to keep playing, you know? So it's great.
Nice.
No, it's feeling a lot better after yesterday. Like, I nearly ripped like 5 times yesterday. I don't know what happened. I don't know if you guys ever had that, where like you just have like plot armor for the day. So like my first map, I didn't know that the harboring change has gone through, so I'm playing a course to carry blight build, so I'm used to kind of just like, oh, stand in the middle, just like whatever. And then he spawns like 4 packs at once. I'm like, oh shit, damn. But then I hard like game white screen crashed into a harboring pack, somehow survived, but did like the full 2 minutes of fuck GGG, fuck this game, fuck everything, log in. Oh, actually no, it's fine. Okay, whatever. And then I've had that like 3 times since. So I'm currently just like afraid to log in right now because like I've used up so much luck, it's ridiculous. But
I saw a clip that you uploaded to YouTube earlier, maybe
Yeah.
today. That was a close one.
the
Could you tell us about your experience with the totem?
Oh, the stupid
totem.
freeze thing. Yeah. If anyone saw that. So basically, I was like, oh, my build's kind of squishy. It hasn't got no leech. I'll use 2 HP pots, which is a bad idea. Just always use like 1 or 0. So I had freeze removal and bleed removal on seething potions. And yeah, it was just like get freeze, seething, and then got frozen again, seething, got freeze, seething. Then there's like there's a split second of a head of like, should I just macro? Nah, I don't need to macro. Hang on, you haven't actually clicked anything while you've had this thought process. Shit. Drops TP, then can't click on the TP because I'm frozen. Goes, still doesn't want to macro in my head because I've made the decision not to. I then go like exit game, somehow click through the game menu, take the TP while frozen, and make it out on 700 HP. And I'm just like, yeah, okay,
Panic
sure,
actions.
like sure, yeah, seems good. But my favorite thing about that though is now all the YouTube comments like, Tarke, I don't know if you're aware, but you can roll remove freezing on flasks. I'm like, yeah, no, I know, but I'm running this. It's like, yeah, actually, I'm not sure if you're aware, Tarke, but it's better to run it on a utility flask than it's like, yeah, no, I know, guys. It's just, I'm not gonna have curse removal on my. Well, you know, Tarke, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's these things called just like, okay, fucking delete this game. Like, that's one of the things I love. It's like after the Niggy rep, I'm sure people are like, by the way, Nicky, you don't have to click on the strongbox. Just as a pre-warning.
You should stand at max range, Nuki. Or maybe you should have your totems up, Mr. Level 98 in hardcore. You should probably put up your totems before you click a box.
See,
God, then Nuki rip.
see, what I like to do is, what you can do is you can just stand like 20 foot away and hold shift. If you didn't know, if you hold shift, your character doesn't move. And then if your character does start moving, you've got enough distance to, it's like, fuck off, guys. But yeah.
I feel sorry for Nuki with that rip. Because I totally believe his story. Because he said that he didn't panic, which I believe, because he clicked all his potions. And he said he tried to blink arrow, and it didn't work. And you can see that he had his cursor in the right spot. And you immediately moved and clicked his pots, and he reacted to, like, everything. And, yeah, it's like he said his blink arrow didn't go off, and I believe it. I don't know. I've been playing Leap Slam, and I'm having so many problems moving around while leveling, or had so many problems, because like a lot of the tile sets and even in maps, it just doesn't seem to work a lot of the times when I'm leap slamming. I don't know.
So wait,
So I
would
think
you
it
say
might
that
have
you
been
couldn't move?
I couldn't move.
Yeah.
He couldn't move because he died. But I kind of feel sorry for him, because if this was me, I would call Reddit a bunch of inbreds in this situation. But he's a chill guy, so he doesn't. You know?
To be fair, I've had the exact same thing with Blink Arrow. I think it's like, you know that thing where you like click on a strong box, you then run away, but your character's still locked onto the strong box, so it just like runs straight back. I think that's what happened with Blink Arrow. I've had that a few times where like I go to blink arrow, and then I just like either it doesn't go off. You just do like a point blank blink arrow on a box, and you're just like, oh okay, seems good.
That happens to me so much with shield charge when I shield charge through maps because I don't have to target anything with RF. So I'll like go to pick up a currency and I'm like, nah, fuck it, and I'll just like click shield charge and my guy just auto starts running backwards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you going backwards?
That's how I died to Hillock, because I like auto-locked on a ring or something and kept running into him as he's like jumping on top of my face. I died to Hillock like that like 2 years ago. It's in one of Mirak's videos. Pretty bad.
What actually causes that? Like, does anyone know programming wise why your character locks onto some items? Or
It's just because you held down the left click on it, and then if you shield charge away, even if you move your mouse off of it, it's still name locked. So like you can do it with like an item. If you drop an item, click on it, and then shield charge away, as long as it's like probably like within 100 units, you'll just run back.
okay.
PoE is kind of weird with clicks. I don't know if you guys have had it, but a lot of people have been complaining in the chat, and I have had a lot of problems to the point where I bought a new mouse because when the league launched, like I couldn't hold down currency with shift and stuff, where I would roll maps and stuff, and it would just constantly click away. And I got so freaked out. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I bought a new mouse, and it was the same thing. And I don't know.
Really? You mean like your cursor like jitters a little bit?
Sometimes
Or,
it
like,
would
when you-
jitter, yeah. Sometimes it would just not click, like on
That's strange.
currencies. Yeah.
I've never had that happen. I had an issue with like it not properly like I don't know, like I would move it and it would jitter, and then I found out it was my mouse and I had to like clean it with a Q-tip and it fixed it, but
No, for me, like I said, I changed my mouse and everything, and
still messed up.
Yeah.
That's strange. I crash a lot, but I don't have clicking issues.
Do you use DirectX 11?
No, I use 9. I
Yeah.
can't use 11.
Yeah, I
have
can't
to
do it
switch it around.
either. I can't capture the game then.
My game turns into RuneScape and I have like 4 FPS at the same time. So I'm playing
Oh.
RuneScape with 4 FPS.
Wait, on 11?
Yeah. When
For me, it's the opposite.
Really?
Where if I'm playing 9, I can't play at all. I instantly crash. When I played 11, it would crash constantly, but it would work perfectly well. And then 9x works
try not-
well, sometimes crashes, but I have to restart my game every 3 hours or something because it gets really, really laggy. But then I was playing a summoner, so every time I did that, I had to get specters. So it was like a
Oh.
constant. You know that thought? It was like a constant.
Yeah.
That thought when you have like specters, you have like really good specters, but then you're in a map and you're just fucking dying. Like outright, you're dying, and you're like instead of logging out, all you have in your head is just, oh my god, I don't want to lose my specters, and then you die, and it's like, dude, I could have left like 6 times, but I didn't want to
didn't
lose
wanna
my
re-
specters.
Yeah.
It's constantly that for me when I'm playing on Direct 9, but not anymore. Well,
Which
after I'm done.
vectors were you using? I'm playing a summoner myself right now.
Yeah.
Which ones are you using?
Oh, I was using the Wickerman. My
Yeah, I
build
need
was
to try those too.
all about Wickerman. It was
Yeah.
Wickermen are really, really cool. Basically, if anybody played back in the day, they're like burning miscreations back when they
Yeah.
were bugged with like cast and death, because they have that righteous fire aura, which is unrighteous fire. It scales like a little bit differently, but it's basically righteous fire. I see. I like how Pohx's eyes just like. it's
Turn
so
RF.
dumb. Righteous
I
fire.
tried miscreants in the beta and they're poop, that's why.
Oh. No, but these guys actually work really well. They deal a ton of damage. You can scale them really high. I think I'll be trying out like doing Shaper with them and everything. And yeah, they work really well for SRS. I feel like SRS really without a Baron isn't that strong, but SRS basically like cleans up, and my entire build was based around like those guys running around and killing everything for me. And they've got nice single target too with Molten Strike.
Yeah.
Really
Molten Strike?
Yeah, they
they've-
use Molten Strike and
Dude, those sound awesome.
yeah.
They're a really cool Spectre, honestly.
Man,
When I wanted to play like a Golemancer, but obviously solo self-found, by the way, you can't fucking find
Yeah.
the gems ever. Like they just never drop. And I was like ready to switch. My plan was to switch because I knew that I'm not gonna find the gems, and I didn't just want to play SRS. But then Carve and Angry kept telling me like, "Oh, you gotta try Wickerman." I was just like, "Dudes, I'm fucking trying to race here. Why would I try this shitty Spectre?" And then I tried it one time, never went back. Changed my build to the Spectre node. Like, it is so nice. Can't recommend.
I'm trying the Solaris. What are they called? Guardians. Solaris something. You can get in the Hopper Ridge right now. They're pretty cool too. They create that fire tornado projectile thing too.
Oh, I wish that was a
Yeah.
skill. So cool.
Yeah, it looks really badass. But I definitely need to try out those Wickermans. They sound pretty sweet. But I was curious, but you already answered this, but how they did for single target, because that's what I would want them for, because I'm using them together with, I'm playing a summon Skele Mage Summoner. So I'm using skeletons as my main setup, and they're actually working really well. Skele Mages are
I've seen
pretty
a few
strong.
builds. The damage looks pretty solid on them.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be really strong together. Because like the
Yeah.
coolest thing about the Wickerman is that they never die. At first I had Fortify with them and stuff. You don't need any of that shit. As soon as I picked up the Spectre node, like even before, they would just never ever die. I could do anything in the entire game and they wouldn't die.
You're talking about the 100% increased life.
Yeah.
And damage, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that being used right now, because like I was getting so sick of minion AI, but like having something like that just does periodic AoE damage seems to fit it really well.
And it's so good with Spectres. I didn't even know about all of these changes, but now you just like point your cursor and that's where they go. So like you've got all this stuff you got to do with a summoner normally, where you have to keep up all these abilities, and it's a very active playstyle. But when you're playing SRS, you don't have to aim at anything, right? It's just how you position yourself. But now with these Spectres, you just point and click your SRS, and the Spectres run there. So you just don't just stay on your character. You can just point them at like anywhere you want them to go. So if your SRSs are going to the left, you click your SRSs to go to the right. The SRSs do whatever the fuck, but your Spectres run over there. So
That's cool.
It's so cool.
But didn't they do that before too? Like you've always been able to control them with the cursor click.
Sorta. Well, I didn't play like a summoner for a long time. That's why I decided to play SRS now. They sort of did that, but they weren't very responsive. I felt like, well, now they're like super responsive.
Yeah, I haven't tested those. I played zombies in the beta, and I'm pretty sure the AI got even worse, because I would run a map with like hallways or corridors, and you stack minion speed, right? You go and zoom, and like 8 out of 10 zombies, like there's an 80% chance that your zombie will get trapped in a corridor and just look at you die. And you just be like, I'm not coming, dude. You got to convocation me over. Otherwise, I'm not helping
really
you.
bad.
They definitely did change something with Monster AI though, because there's all those like pictures of, it's like you notice a lot in Submerged Passage, with just like crabs looking at you across a bridge, just like, yo,
Coming over.
yeah.
Wasn't that in the patch notes in the beta that they like mobs respond faster, that
did
they
something.
react, like, and you can really feel it. It's kind of like before when I had temp chains, mobs would never move, but now when I leap slam into a pack with like temp chains, mobs actually can hit me. They actually respond pretty freaking fast. So yeah, it's really
I
nice.
like that. I prefer that, because when they made the change, do you guys remember like a long time ago they made the change so that monsters don't cast skills consecutively anymore? Like you won't see like 20 Roas charge you at the same time. I feel like that, it like dubbed the game down a little bit for some mobs, and then I feel like this change kind of brought it back up.
I mean, you say that though, but I like encountered the scariest mob in the world. You know how you get like 70%, 100% AoE on maps now, and it's just like, oh, seems good. You know the Acts 5 Magma Orb bitches? I was doing like a cell style layout, walk into a room, like 100% AoE. There's like a pack of them just goes. I'm like, oh fuck! Like Jesus, there's no like dodging that. There is no like I'm not gonna get hit. Their AoE is like the size of the entire fucking room and corridor, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave this map. Fuck it. Just didn't even clear it. I was just like, no, just no.
Hey, Tarke, you know I have 95% fire res.
I mean, even with like 95% fire res, like I wouldn't underestimate the ability of like Magma or 100% AoE shotgunning in a cells map or some shit.
That's true. Shotgunning or AoE overlap is always something to be concerned about.
The only reason why I want to play RF now is because of volatile. Like
100%, it's beautiful.
Holy
Dude,
shit!
Raiz minus max map, like minus max T15, maybe 2K from a volatile. Like nothing.
Dude, like I was so because basically in the race it was like me, Grom, and like Uber that were like super competitive in the SSF race, right? And like I was so fucking scared of volatiles because you off screen so much with SRS, right? So if your SRS off screens, then by the time you even see the volatile, it's already like just fucking
Yep.
racing towards you. So you don't even have time to react to it, really. Because as soon as you see it, it's already fucking exploding on top of you, and you maybe have a second to, like, move away. So I'm super scared of volatiles. And then Uber died to a volatile. I'm like, oh, holy shit. So since then, I haven't ran any, like, I only ran, like, 1 damage mod and everything. It's
Have
so
you-
scary.
Okay, have you gotten the encounter? Do you ever run maps like Bog where there's a separate boss room?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, I'm sure you've had this before. A volatile will chase you, and you'll go into a new room, and it sits
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I've had like 2 or 3 of them, because you know, you kill stuff off screen, you kill a Harbinger pack, you just go in. I'll go into the Roa room, kill a pack, didn't even notice there's bears because I kill them too fast, right? You run through, you come out, there's like 7 bears in front of the boss room, 3 volatiles charging at you. You're like, oh, okay.
I didn't know it waited for you.
Yeah,
it
they're
doesn't-
sneaky.
You switch zones, kind of like you go into a new area, it'll
Hmm.
wait for you. It just
Yeah,
pauses.
same for
Yeah.
if you move too fast, because the volatile speed doesn't scale infinitely. It has like a certain speed that it reaches, and it can only stay on that. So
And
you
then it
can
pops.
like, if you're fast enough, you can like kite it for a really long time. And sometimes when the volatile pops, you can move away
Mm.
before it targets you. So then you're like backtracking through a map or something, and there's just a volatile sitting that was off screen that sees you from like 2 screens away and just fucking like holy shit. And
Dude, I
people say
raced
it's
them.
not scary. It's so scary, but it's scary in the right way, I think.
Yeah.
Because before it was scary for melee, while now it's super scary for anything that off screens and things that off screen should be getting fucked.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
No, there's
like
a lot
it.
more counterplay. I'm playing a Queen of the Forest build now, so I get baited into racing them. But the problem I have is like, I'll race them, like, ooh, Chaos Orb, click. And then it's just like, haha, I got him. And you're like, oh shit, okay, it's fine. But one thing I'm slightly worried about, and I don't know if they fix it, you know how you have that thing, like, if you leave zones or TP zones, you get, like, stuff going invisible, like, you miss out on animations? I'm waiting for the Reddit highlight of someone being chased into a boss room by a volatile, TPing in the boss room to, like, refresh flasks, walking out of the boss room and getting one-shot by an invisible volatile. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I don't
Did you,
think it
did you
does
see that volatile thread? The one where it was, I think it was like Rangarn and stuff, and they were doing beachhead map, and then there was they were laughing about volatiles getting people, and there was a volatile that was chasing a guy, and then he ran through the volatile. The volatile started going like it was about to explode, and then the guy like stopped running and started attacking, and then the volatile appeared next to him, and he instantly died.
A desync volatile.
Like I don't know. It
Gee.
was crazy. Like I can probably get Tarke the video.
Yeah,
maybe
link
show.
it wasn't desync though, it was just Flicker Strike, it's fine. Flicker Strike volatile.
Flicker strike?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They roll affixes now?
I've seen that with Dom. with
Camouflage
minions,
predator?
Or not Dom. Malachi, where he would
Oh
teleport.
yeah, he does
you,
that.
he
a
would
lot.
start going,
Yeah.
"Rrrr," and then you move away, and he like appears next to you and blows up all of a sudden. like he teleports twice, like he's got multi-strike or something. It's
That
so
happens
fucking
a
weird.
lot. If you ever do like Malachi with multiple people, that still happens. I was leveling with someone last league, and we were both just like running in circles. Then I just see my mate get one shot as Malachi just like nope, boom. And it's like oh, just like it's a nice
Is
little
the
tried
volatile
to,
affected by the 100% AoE on the map? Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
But they did change.
Onslaught makes them really dangerous.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
so-
are saying that they changed the scaling of volatile. Like they scale like bearers with the map tier rather than
I heard
like,
that too.
yeah, but
Hmm.
I don't know if it's true.
It
does, like-
feels like they hit for less in general than before.
Yeah, that they don't
Yeah.
have such a high like insane scaling, but at the same time like the smaller things that don't really have that much like base weapon attack seem to hit you for the same amount that like a golem would.
Well, yeah, because it's
Yeah.
been like normalized. So
Yeah.
it's like even if a little monkey does it or a golem does it, so like random one-shot stuff.
Yeah, but it's weird that they wouldn't mention that in the patch notes. Like, why wouldn't they talk about that? If it's true, I mean, it kind of seems like that, but
I
I'm not 100%.
mean, has there ever been a history of them mentioning stuff like that? To be fair,
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot of stuff missing in this current patch, I think.
Yeah.
It's definitely not in there. Like a
I
lot
think
of
things
stuff.
that are important, GG does not like to mention. They want players to figure it out for themselves. I think they still have like that old school mentality of like, we want you to figure it out. We don't want to tell you what it is. We'll guide you, but we're not going to tell you.
just,
And then when you
wait.
die, you can't complain. It's
Just
free
wait
game, by
for
the way.
Lionel to rip to it, and then we'll find out it got changed in the patch notes.
I died to a volatile here the other day too on my charge dash character. I couldn't really see it behind the wall, and then it killed me. But because I'd started the charge dash animation, I actually was moved after the death. So it just made absolutely no sense to me. I was in a different direction or in a different spot, and I couldn't see what the fuck it killed me. And then that's because when I looked at the clip, because it kills me before that, but you still move through with the animation.
You have that a lot. I've got a few clips of me dying in like Uber Lab, and I'm like, I blink arrow, and I die as my blink arrow is going off, and you just see the corpse move out of the slam. I'm like, you fucking prick, man! Like, fuck you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it's just
the
kind of
video.
works.
Well, whatever. Maybe
But
chat's got...
since that's kind of like what everyone's been up to, I know it's kind of awkward now because like the Harbinger changes to at least have breathed so much fresh life into the league, but has the 3.0 sparkle worn off for you guys?
No,
What?
I
I'm
mean,
so excited. I'm having
like-
so much fun.
yeah, I would say I'm having fun. It's mainly just because, like, I don't know, I feel like the bossing change really, like, screwed over a lot of builds, but at the same time, if you're able to kill bosses, I do feel that they're more rewarding now. At least from, like, my personal experience. Like, I've gotten quite a few T1 rolls, like T1 hits on the unique table. I've gotten, like, Taste of Hate. I found a Shavs in beta off of the Mud Geyser boss, and then I also found a Void Battery off him, so I'm pretty happy with him.
So
like it.
you were saying that you are experiencing that the bosses are worth your time, and
They have absolutely been, yeah.
okay.
I've probably made like close to like 800 to 900 chaos just off the race core bosses, and another like 500 chaos off the Mud Geyser, not the bog one. The ones I think like triple bosses, double bosses, and enraged bosses. The ones that basically you can augment their loot and get like a ton of loot from it. You get great rewards out of them. And I've tested it too. Like I've ran like 75 Ashen Woods, and I noticed that off the boss, I just get considerably less loot from him and map return compared to like a triple boss or an enraged boss.
Agreed.
Okay.
Definitely.
Do we know? Have they said anything in the recent time about buffing bosses?
They did say they
Or
buffed.
the loot, I mean.
I think they said they buffed the drop rate on the ones like you break the roa nests. I know for a fact they said something about those.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think they said anything about the triple bosses, but I think in general, I just think they're great. Like Courtyard, I want to test out doing like double boss T15 shaped courtyards.
Courtyard seems crazy now. Like,
Spooky, but it's great.
yeah, it's really good. I think so too. I don't know. They haven't talked about it, but it definitely like. I experimented a lot because I was very back and forth on my tier 11. Because since I was playing Soul Self-Found, like to me the best tier 11 is still Strand, but only if you've got like the sextants to do it. But since I was Soul Self-Found, I didn't have the sextant, so that was kind of, I had to experiment. So I tried out race course. Race course seemed okay for EXP, but like it was so. Sometimes you would have like 300 mobs, and sometimes you would have 700 mobs, and I never really like paid attention to how much the boss was dropping. And then I switched to Canyon, which also has 2 bosses, and Canyon seemed really poopy in terms of drops compared to race course. Like I immediately felt it, and then when I started paying attention to it, I was like, holy shit, race course, because I switched back again, which is very expensive, but I was like, this seems legit. It's such a huge difference with triple boss. Like it seems like each one of them has independent loot drops. I don't know.
I've heard that from people in chat. They say that they were on something else. They were either on like Canyon or another T11, and after being on race course for like a week or so, and then when they went back to race course, it was like instant sustain. It felt better in terms of items. I don't actually like the mobs in race course. I think race course is kind of like there's still too much spacing in between the mobs. So I've shaped Canyon, but if like more than a few people to tell you like in your chat like, hey, like try race course because it's like the easiest sustain, then I mean maybe there is something to that. But I think after this most recent patch, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it seems like the drops are easier now in terms of maps, because before I would like out can go if I didn't chisel, I didn't sextant, I'd be like bouncing a little bit in terms of my map pool. But after this recent patch, it's like I can't run out of any map. I don't know. Is that just me?
I feel like I've sustained the same. I was sustaining like blue shaped strands when I was leveling in Breach, but that's probably because Breach, now that I think about it, so.
Yeah.
straight. It feels like they upped something with this new patch.
Up the RNG.
Maybe. I mean, hey, they didn't tell us about the EK MTX
Oh, I loved that.
buff.
That was good.
So
What was the
thinking, by
thing
the way.
there?
So if you put on the EK and the ethereal stars, you had basically more range on your EK, right? And, like unannounced, like it's supposed to be visual, right? So, but people were testing it out and they were finding that when they put on ethereal stars, the projectiles seemed to hit much further than regular EK, and then
Much
so
further?
It was like
Like,
off
how-
screening, like 2 screens away.
significant, like noticeable. And so
Really?
now they come out with a patch saying like the MTX is, I guess it was pay to win. And let me just say one thing, okay? Let me just say one thing. I've been saying for the last week or two, ever since the Chaos and Order mystery box came out, that Gore Herald of Ice is not just a visual AoE. Because like I played Autobomber for 2 weeks, right? And people will be like, hey, that's a nice AoE, but I can't like afford it. Can you show me Gore or Gloom AoE? Can you show me purple AoE on Herald of Ice? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'd put it on and I'd do a few maps and instantly I'd be like, why does my build feel so shit? Like it wasn't just visual. It was like the radius felt smaller on this Herald of Ice. So, and then when I went back to Gloom Herald, you could like see it. You were like, wait, what is going on here? Am I going crazy? So now that the EK thing comes, everyone was like, this guy is like super tiny, non-glowy brain. But now
Things have
Oh
changed.
shit. That's really messed up though.
I had no
actually.
idea that it could in any way influence the actual skill.
They reverted
mean,
back?
what was that?
Did they like announce it and revert it back, or did they just
It's
be like,
fixed, yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah,
okay"?
they
I thought they were
just
just gonna
recently
ignore it
announced
and
it,
just be like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
No, they fixed it. They fixed it like now. I mean, it's been like
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Right.
But I mean, it's always kind of been like with MTXs, like with the new Cyclone MTX, the Dark Cyclone or something. You normally on Cyclone, it doesn't increase, like when you get more AoE, it doesn't increase the animation. Like you can't really see that your AoE is bigger. You can see obviously that you're hitting mobs that are further away from you, but you can't really see it. But with the new Dark Cyclone MTX, you've got like a black cloud underneath you, and this cloud gets bigger and smaller with your AoE. So like you can see better how far away you're going to hit mobs, which is kind of, I mean, sure it's just a visual indicator, but it still helps.
That's nice.
I mean, it's the exact
was-
same thing with
It's a little bit pay
Corsica.
to win.
Yeah, it's like the difference being able to actually tell what your AoE is and not is so huge.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
think so too.
when I was mapping yesterday, people kept saying, "Oh, like how bad does your build look without the AoE, like without Corsica?" And it's crazy. Like I know it might not be like subliminal because there are cases sometimes it's broken, but it feels so much worse. You're like, this has got no AoE. It feels like it does less damage. And I think the theory is like with the Hente MTX, the tentacles like slap the mobs, and that's why like it deals more damage. Because like they're getting the cloud, but then they're also being hit as like it's just logical. That it just clears more. But I don't know.
Totally
I don't
makes sense.
Makes so much sense. Makes so much sense.
But it's really annoying when the animation doesn't fit the actual AoE. They had that, or I still think it's there, but with Blade Vortex, there's also these certain thresholds that unless you meet those, the increased area effect is not going to have any effects, visually at least. So you can't see what you're hitting. It's really annoying. But you have to get pretty far high up. But they've been commenting on this, and they say this is how they want it. But it doesn't feel good. It's not fun that way then.
Yeah,
See-
wasn't it before like that where like you would use, like sometimes you would use Blade Vortex and your AoE was a certain size, and then you would use it again like with the same setup, and then it would be like bigger, and then I think they changed it now so that it's.
I've seen that too, but I've always wondered why the hell that was. But doesn't it just seem that the more knives you have up and spinning, the larger the visual animation becomes?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like that.
Yeah, it would like roll a dice and place the blade vortex
Yeah.
somewhere, right? And the more you have, like the more likely it's going to be on like the outer ring. And it felt like it. I don't know what you're talking about. When I played Blade Vortex a long time ago, it honestly did feel like when you were holding consistent like 20 blades,
Yeah.
it felt like you were hitting further.
Yeah.
I think it was just visual, right?
It might
was
have
it
been.
Have any of you guys?
Who knows, to be honest.
Have any of you guys played Blade Vortex recently since they reduced the amount of hits that it had?
It feels terrible. I played it briefly
Yeah.
for leveling. It's because it's like you have that thing like you walk into a mob and you feel like you should be hitting it, but it's not hitting it yet. It's like,
It's like this latency time almost. And
You
it just
played it in 3.0? I think they
yes.
changed something again, and because I was playing it now, and it felt slightly better. Where
Okay.
in 2.6 it felt really bad. Like when you were doing a headhunter race, for instance, you would play like with a shadow, you would play Blade Vortex, and then you'd have all these stacks, and you'd be fucking one-shotting everything. But then you'd run through you're super fast, right? In headhunter race, so you're running through a mob, and like you clearly should have hit it like 6 times, but
Yeah.
it just didn't hit it. And it's like, what the fuck? This feels
really
awful. But
feel
now it
it.
feels slightly better.
I really feel that a big part of the charm of Blade Vortex was the very rapid hits, and then they removed that and gave it some more damage, and the skill was still good, but it felt significantly less fun to play. It felt I'm not sure what it is that makes it less fun,
It's
but
just inconsistent.
yeah.
Super inconsistent. Yeah.
it was just that sound. It was so satisfying, but now it's just yeah. I don't like that. I've been wanting to talk about that for a long time now. I finally had the chance.
I think they're scared because with their Volpact balance, they don't want to have things go off so quickly to the point where it makes you like immortal. And they're still like in a question mark state trying to balance their game around Volpact. I think that's GG's like ultimate goal.
I honestly think it is more to do with performance. I think that's why.
It could be a two.
Yeah.
I think
Because
it's a
freeze.
mix of the two.
Yeah.
That and like old school Pathfinder, like back in probably was it 2.2 when Perendus first came out. I was playing a Harvest Pathfinder with Blade Vortex, and I was like, I remember I was like doing like what was Vol back then, like tier 14 or something, at level 70.
Yeah.
And there's like a 30-minute video. I had no damage because I was level 70, but I was just reading a book on stream, just like mashing my flask because it was like infinitely sustaining. And I just did it for like an hour, like straight. Just you couldn't take any damage. It was like fucking ridiculous. It's just, I don't know. I'm surprised they actually, on that note, they added the like crit flask node to Scion Pathfinder because it seemed like they tried really hard to move away from that like self-sustaining gameplay, and then they like randomly just add it back in, and you're like, wait, what? Why? Okay.
How much is it? What is the percent?
It's like 50%, isn't it, or something? It's really high.
50% chance to gain a blast charge and deal a crit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when I saw that, I was like, I thought the whole point was we were trying to move away from that. Why you? I don't
Well,
know.
Yeah, that's a pretty high number.
They
Yeah.
kind of reduced crit chance, so maybe that's their reasoning for it.
Yeah.
You've got like 2% less crit now, so that justifies a 250% buff. I mean, seems really good.
True. What do you guys think about the new Cyan alternate art?
I really
think
don't like it.
The first
It's
one's not that
so
great.
bad. What?
The first thing I thought was like, she looks like she has a few too many chromosomes right now.
She looks like Skylar from Breaking Bad. Have you guys ever seen that show?
Yeah, I guess.
So
Oh, I
in my
hated
chat
her.
said. Yeah. So
If they
Silent.
do that, it's so weird. And they've got
They
such a
said
good
it's
art. There's
okay.
the art where she's like standing with the tentacles from like when Act 4 came out. It's such a good art. Why don't they just use that?
Yeah.
Instead they made this. It looks so weird. And like even it looks like a small head with like a big background. It's like oddly like you can see that it's not specifically for the avatar. It's just like cropped out of some picture. Like I don't know, man.
I
It's
think
so
she looks
bad.
so fertile. That's just something like those red blossom cheeks. You can just see that as a woman that's ready to make a baby right there.
I
Go
feel
away.
like I feel like
Cut that
you've got some issues that you need to go through here. You're like, what? I don't know.
She looks like she's like 14 in the non-ascendant picture.
I take everything back I just said.
She looks like she's 14. She looks so fertile. Oh shit.
Okay,
Oh,
boys.
boy.
Okay.
All right.
But
Are
like
you
this,
getting Tarke banned?
yeah, the thing which I found amusing about though, because when I first saw the artwork, like when they announced it, they did like a tweet, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look that bad. and I saw it in game for the first time yesterday. I was just like going through my friends list. I was like, what the fuck? Like, bruh. It's like, it really caught me off guard. And when you see it in the friends list, it looks so much different compared to all the other artwork. There was like a berserker beneath it and an occultist. I'm like, what the... Like,
honestly, if you take what Raiz said, it literally looks like they just like picked out a random picture.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even look like it's from Path of Exile and just cropped it and just like put it in Path of Exile. And like, that's pretty much it. But I don't really care that much about a portrait. It's like, whatever. Anyway, it's not like you even look at your portrait.
Here's why they did it. Have you guys noticed that Portrait MTX is coming out like next year?
Really?
Have you just noticed how what CuteDog's done there is he's just taken the topic list and tried to pretend it as if he had his own interesting thought. Right, continue please, CuteDog, continue as you are. Sorry, I just want to point that out there.
Wait, what's next on the topic list? Is it on there?
Yes, it's on there. But see, what you do is I make these show notes so people read them.
I didn't read. I read it this morning.
Portrait MTX tab, a new Cyan portrait,
Oh.
incoming speculation time. Insert 30 minutes of off-topic CuteDog and me talk about MTX.
Well, that's like further down. That's like halfway down the page. Come on, man. I'm reading these topics as I go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into that.
Yeah, go for it.
So, for those of you that don't know, next to your portrait frame, there's this mysterious other portrait one that doesn't have any MTX yet. So, what if they purposely make everything look bad, and then they make like the portrait MTX just like the juiciest, most like glowy, flashy, customizable portrait you can think of, and they make the monies because Xbox failed, I hear, so they need more monies.
I think they have said in the past, a long time ago, that they intentionally, when just designing items in game, that they don't want them to look too good or too flashy, because that makes it less appealing to get an MTX. So I absolutely believe that theory of yours.
Wait,
there.
They've said that?
No, it's not. Don't quote. Not a direct quote, but I believe I heard
So wait,
on a
so
podcast,
Chris said
I think
what,
the
sorry?
State of Exile.
That's great. No way, no.
I mean,
Just
maybe
look at
like
the Baller
years
Dahlia
ago,
and the hubris.
like
Yeah, it's years ago.
casually
said.
thrown around in Crips chat or something. Like, I can't. The reason why you have a bucket on your head is because we want your money. Yeah. It's like, that's not a good PR move.
No. See, when I first saw that portrait thing, what I thought they were going to do is like with the old school, what was it, like the Diamond supporter pack, you got a custom like forum avatar. I was thinking, oh, they might bring that back, because that would be a really cool way of bringing it back. Like you have these like massive supporter packs again, and then you get this like custom portrait you could use in game as like a very exclusive thing. That made so much sense to me. But they just haven't like announced anything with it. I think if that's not what they're planning, that's what they should do with it, because I can imagine CuteDog dropping like a few $1,000 dues for some little like panda themed artwork,
It'd be nice if you could like customize it. I'd spend some coin.
Yeah.
Right.
Just be able to create something in Paint and upload it, and then you could use your own. That would be terrible.
Fuck that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Nah.
Dramatic. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Cause like when I played Terra, we like made a guild, and they took the
the guild tag for the custom guild tag?
Raiz. I think it's soup. Yeah. So they basically, my chat took that, blown it up to like weird proportions, made it a square, and then everybody in the guild was just running around with like a fucking
Square tomato?
just one square tomato. People were really freaking out in game about it. I'm like, I don't know. If that's gonna come to PoE, that's not a good thing. I don't think.
Like they wouldn't do it where you get to make your own one. So like for anyone who doesn't know, because no one uses the forums, back when we used to use the forums, every now and again you'd be like, wow, this guy's got some really cool artwork. I think it's like they would send a suggestion to someone at GGG and then they'd like make something cool out of it. But there are like, I don't know, 20 people, no, it's probably a few hundred people on the forums with these really cool things, and since no one uses the fucking forums, they can't use it for anything. So it would make sense to like put that in game, and then it's like, yeah, you are a Diamond supporter, you get this thing. So I don't know.
I mean, their support is like really good. If they would just like have these pictures go through the support, which usually responds in like 3 minutes anyway, right? So instead of support responding so fast, let's say it would take them 6 minutes now to respond, but they would have to review all these avatars. And if they deemed them appropriate, they would go in game. If not, then not.
Yeah.
They can just do tile sets, like how you do your guild name, you know? It's like you have little items in game you can use to customize it, so then they don't have to worry about like, you know, certain combos instead of just being like customized completely where they review every single little thing.
Oh, can we briefly talk about the fucking Harbinger? Can we talk briefly about the Harbinger portrait frames from the supporter pack? Jesus Christ. It's like, okay, so what we've done is we've got these like cool little triangles at the bottom, but then if you get like the big one, you get them at the top as well. And I'm just like, wow. That's some good shit
double.
right
It's
there.
pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty big more multiplier.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you know, I haven't seen that. No, there's like some shit on the side too, right?
Nice.
I thought my game was bugged when I saw it at first. I'm looking at it right now.
Isn't there some? It's not just like added to the top. There's something to the
like,
side of it too.
I was trading with someone using it. I was just like, wow, that's disappointing.
What is that on the side of it? I see it looks like
some
like
bullshit.
It looks like a drop of water. Like just...
Maybe that's in the background. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel that their supporter packs have been like lacking of recently, to be honest. But I mean, I understand if they're busy with a bunch of stuff.
Really, I love the ones previous to this one.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think I'm gonna get like any supporter pack for like the longest time because I just spent way too fucking much on this game, to be honest. And yeah, I ended up getting the Eclipse supporter pack, and I fucking love it. Like the new MTXs look so much better than the old ones, and I've been kind of, you know.
I think the new ones they released are nice, but I feel like some of the ones in like the past couple months have been kind of weird looking. But I think the supporter packs, I don't know, it's like changed up and down. I feel like they've hit like weird, like kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's just
really the recent supporter pack they put out with the guy standing in that blue armor, the shadow. I could easily imagine one of my really, you know, try hard role playing real life friends standing in that outfit, going to some kind of role playing convention.
Exactly. Like that's how I feel like what they were going for, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure I like it too much though.
I don't like it either, but I get some people that might like it. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what my biggest fucking problem with supporter packs is? GGG, when you're streaming a video game and then you're like, oh, let me look into this supporter pack, and you click on the picture, it fucking shows your address. GGG.
Does it really?
Your fucking address.
No.
It showed my shit on stream.
That's only if you click buy, right?
Oh my, no, it. Actually, now that I did it, it didn't do it. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe it's only on the supporter pack that you've got. Maybe it's to like edit. Oh yeah, it's only on the supporter pack that you've got, because on the other ones it doesn't work. But what the worst part is, not only did it, like, I was so disappointed in my chat, it showed my address, right? Or well, my parents' address. And I was like, all right, this is fucked up. Let's delete the VOD real quick. I just doxed myself. Thanks a lot, GGG. And then I look at my clips, and I'm like, I never look at my clips or anything. I look, and people clipped it 112 times or something. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I delete the VOD, and like 112 people clip it. Like, how does that make sense?
That is one thing with Twitch that I feel like they do need to get better at, because there's been a few times where like you accidentally do something. It's like, it's fine, I'll just instantly delete the VOD. And then like, clip bitches, and you're like, fuck. Yeah. I had a thing like a few months ago where I was like randomly watching a music video on stream, and it was like some really stupid artsy thing on YouTube, and then just like a pair of tits out of nowhere. I'm like, oh shit, close. I'm like, I think I got away with it, and then I'm just like, check clips. I'm like, just like, had to individually message like, hey bro, do you mind deleting that clip real quick? You know?
Yeah, now you can delete them.
Right?
Oh,
But
you can delete
still
them now.
upload
Okay.
to something else like Oddshot and whatnot.
Can you delete clips that people have made of you?
Yeah. You can delete.
It's of your
anything.
channel, yeah.
I
When
always
did
wondered
they
why that wasn't
introduce
the case
that?
from the get-go.
Because I feel like that wasn't there at the start. Because
Well,
at the
I'm pretty
time,
sure
I
it
was
was.
freaking out that I couldn't
No,
get rid of
this is
yeah.
recent. This is
Yeah.
recent that they changed it so you can delete clips like maybe a month and a half ago, something like that.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Man, you guys have an exciting life. My stream was pretty boring compared to that.
I mean,
Nothing
says
really-
the dude who like leaked his porn folder or some shit.
Oh, that was a great time. That was great. Yeah, I had a Word document with like all the porn I was gonna watch. It's complicated. It's really complicated. And I like Alt Tab because I don't use Notepad or Notepad plus plus. I'm like, all right guys, let me go over my links. Alt Tab Word click or WordPad click, and everyone's like, clip 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 clip. And everyone's like, why do you have your porn in a Word document? I was like, okay. So you know how you open your tabs and you keep it there and you open up like 5 or 6. Well, like we had like a power out or something, so like Chrome like got like glitched and it wouldn't load, it wouldn't load anything. So I was like,
And
well,
this was important.
yeah, it was important, man. I was like, I gotta have my happy time. So I copied them and I saved them in a Word document for later, right? Because I was gonna stream, I didn't want to lose them. So it was complicated, man.
You were streaming while watching the porn?
No, I was gonna save it for after the stream
Oh, okay. Sorry.
or whenever it happens.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, let's go on live stream fails, see fucking what the fuck Tyler 1 is doing again. And then I see
Yeah.
Pohx, I'm like, ooh.
Dude, I've been on there a couple times, man. When I've gotten drunk, I'm pretty sure, like, guaranteed if I get drunk, I'm gonna make it to live stream fails.
I'm on
so-
there. I'm like the gay king or something. Anytime I talk about like man pounding and stuff like that, I'm always on live stream fails.
Dude,
And
have a
never
command
anything
to
else.
doing-
I remember I was in bed like 2 months ago or something. I was in bed just like trying to fall asleep. I'm watching these clips on my phone and I'm like I'm watching YouTube with like some live stream fails clip. I'm like, oh, that guy's a retard. Oh, that was really stupid what I did. And I see my clip talking about like some gay stuff again. I'm like, God damn it, what the fuck? Is this some random clip I'm watching? And it's me.
I'm so scared of that fucking Reddit site. I just know one day something
Oh, yeah.
really stupid is gonna happen, and then you'll be there. And it has a lot of traction, that website. There's a lot of people are using it.
Do you want to know a pro tip? Just be a really small streamer. Can't
Oh,
get put
yeah.
on the thing if no one watches your stream, bro. Just gotta outthink these motherfuckers.
Can't argue with that logic.
I don't know if it was actually you, Pohx, but I found it fucking hilarious. You might not even remember. Back when there was the whole like Project PT leaked Skype thing, I didn't know about it. Someone sent me the like live stream fails, and you're in the comments like, "What a retard." Was that actually you, or was that someone else called Pohx?
What?
Like, it might just be someone. It might just be someone else
Exposed.
has the same like Reddit name as you. But it was like, what a retard who uses display capture in relevant year or something.
No, my name on Reddit is POHXX because someone took Pohx.
Okay.
But
I was
honestly,
like, damn, that's a bold move right there.
If I comment on Reddit, I don't even know. Like, I must have gotten shot because I don't ever type on Reddit, like ever.
Okay,
I just browse it. I don't even bother, dude. If I type something, it's like you have been banned from this thread, minus 100 karma. Like you cannot talk on Reddit for 6 years. I don't know. Reddit's got it out for me, bad.
What did PT leak?
Oh, it's nothing. What were we even fucking talking about beforehand? Because we've gone down a hole. Oh yeah, density changes or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Let me say something real quick. I'm doing a race course right now, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Harbingers spawn quite often on here, and especially like sometimes there'll be like maybe like 150 units, maybe 200 units without mobs, but it does feel better than before, especially with some of the other maps.
I don't think race course is that good for density and XP. Raiz, you could really say this because you went to level 100, but I just think it's good for returns from the bosses.
Yep, I agree. Canyon, in terms of EXP, I think Canyon's way better. And I still think Strand is the best, honestly, but it requires that investment. What's also good about Strand is because, like, of the Sextant position, you don't really have anything up there. But then, when you think... Because, like, everything basically, for me, boils down to either the mob types, right? So I didn't really want to run Strand because of Sextants, and I didn't want to run Strand because it's got a lot of those underground watery bitches that like just keep casting for whatever reason. Like nothing in the game targets SRS. but these just cast Ice Nova fucking left and right. So they're killing everything that I've got. So like I didn't want to do Strand for that. But also another reason was that if you Sextant block for Strand, which is what I think really makes it strong, you can't shape your Dunes. And
Yeah.
Dunes is like the best
Oh.
tier 10 by far.
Dunes is so good.
So yeah.
It's the old Dunes though. I like that one better. Just layout type. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really like this Dunes, honestly. It's funny when I got to 100, there was like some really angry kid on Reddit who was like, because like my last 5%.
was it Pohx?
It might have been Pohx. Like the last 5%, I was just like, I had my map saved up, so I was like, okay, let's play really safe and not do anything really stupid. And also, I was kind of, because I'll be honest, I didn't talk about it before, but I don't have a VPN set up here or anything. So like, I didn't want to end up, like Al Kaiser and get fucking DDoS on like 99% or something. So I was like, okay, let's just run white and blue Dunes, and I couldn't at the very like 5%, I didn't have any alterations left at all, so I was just running white Dunes for the last 5%. And then somebody on Reddit was like, it's fucking all it takes to get to 100 is just fucking running white Dunes. What a retard. It's like, dude, I've been struggling so much, this guy just shits all over me.
People are mean, man.
I gotta ask you, when did you realize you hit 100? Did you instantly realize, or
No,
like
It
that
took
you
me
had
like
won?
it took me quite a bit, because there was so much build up to this for me.
Yeah.
Because like Havok's been talking so much shit, and everybody's been talking so much shit, so I'm like, okay, I gotta really do this time, and I did, and then I was like, I did it. I felt
Yeah.
good.
It's gotta be a relief.
To be honest,
But it was hell.
I've never been so disappointed that a bug hasn't happened, because you were like pushing during the like level 1 Scion stuff, and I was like, please level 1 Scion, please, just I wanted it to happen so bad. Like, you have to admit that would have been a way better reaction, is that you just level up level 1 Scion. It would have been like instant like PoE history, just pure gold. It would have been so
It would
good.
have been nice. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it was fun, but I kind of wish something more exciting happened, but at the same time, I really don't. It's just been so long since I've had a 100, and I've never won a league either. Like, I've won races in the past, but I've never won like a 100 race, right? I won races back when getting to 100 took like just way too long, so nobody would get it. But I've never had that, so it was really nice.
How much did you notice that they nerfed experience on monsters?
So for me, it wasn't so drastic because for whatever reason, like a bunch of people and me joined up with that. We started playing like regular solo self on hardcore last week, non-legacy, by the way, which is very dumb. Legacy was so fucking good for EXP and item drops and everything, and when we played like regular hardcore, it was just like a whole different thing. But people wanted to get first 100 because then you're always first 100 in solo self-found, right? So yeah, we played that, and I feel because of that, the shock wasn't that big. But I would imagine for somebody who only played Legacy and now switched to this league, it takes so much longer to get there. Because Legacy gave a fuck ton of EXP, it gave obviously a lot of items, and then like the double beyond was just completely ridiculous. I mean, I don't think we're ever gonna get anything like that. Like, you could get to 100 in what people got it in 14 hours or something. It was just so crazy, and now you can't really do it. So for me, it felt like 15, maybe 20% with the density changes and the EXP changes, like how much less EXP you're getting, something like that, 15 to 20%. Altogether. But if it was Legacy, then it's like 200% less EXP. You don't get EXP in comparison. Yeah.
I can tell it's. I was gonna say I can tell it's pretty noticeable. I had 100 in Breach League with my Blight Abyssal Cry, and I'm running now 97 at 40% with my RF guy, but I'm not doing double beyond maps, and it's like night and day without having like all the extra sextants, double beyond, etc., and with the density changes. But It's still nice because of the map return. You can sustain it. I think as long as you can sustain, you're good to go.
Yeah,
Maybe
for
they
sure.
were anticipating like the beachhead being extremely easy to get, and so now everyone can casually just farm that map if they want. It's like a pseudo Chayula that doesn't cost as much, like significantly cheaper.
How much are people getting in terms of EXP there? Oh, I guess
It's
one's way faster now too.
it's a lot better now. I was getting like I don't not that much, maybe like 97, maybe like 22, 23 mil XP an hour. I think it dropped off when you got to the middle, but now it should boost up way more because they like essentially doubled or tripled the spawn rate of them.
Just
I
being
haven't
like a
played on
T15 by itself should be
Yeah,
kind of
Oh, yeah.
should be worth it.
right? If you're coming from like T10s and stuff, similar layout to, or similar, I guess, like density to dunes, and then you just like go ham over and over and over.
It's simpler to clear too. Less
Do you
Yeah,
guys
that's-
consider it profitable to run solo?
100%.
100%.
Always profitable.
Okay.
I've probably rolled like 35, 40 of them, and I've made currency back each time.
Dang,
Oh wow.
it's pretty crazy.
Because so the method that I use is I take a T11, so like a race course is worth nothing right now. So you 20 quality a race course, and you use the Harbinger stones on it. So if it doesn't create a map out of it, then leave it at T15 and just pick a T15 map that you want to run. Use your Orb of Horizon, switch it to that map you have on your Atlas. So I have a bunch of Abyss maps that are already pre 20% qualityed. If it doesn't, or if it does go Beachhead, then it's automatically T15 and it's already qualityed from your chisel already.
Yeah,
And then all you have to
know you could do that.
yeah, it's
The chisel.
super good. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's kind of like since it's in softcore, it's 20 chaos. So if you can get a beachhead in 5 or 6 maps, you've instantly made money. And then if you don't, if you count the map drops and like the leftover map you have, if it doesn't become a beachhead, if you were to sell everything, you wouldn't lose money at all.
And they
Like
buffed
the
drops.
general rule. Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah. You get a lot of maps from beachhead, I think.
How do you guys feel about that? And also to preface this, I've like played nothing this league for that one dude in the YouTube comments was like, "Oh my god, Tarke," but like I have a few friends who've been abusing the hell out of the upgrading map thing, and they're like, "Yeah, this is too strong. It needs nerfing." Like if that stuck around, how would you feel about that?
It's fine.
Yeah,
I think it's fine soon.
I think the Orb of Horizon might be a little too strong just because of the influx of how many there are. But I think that when we get our new league, it's not going to be as potent as it is right now. So I think it'll balance out to be just fine. Kind of like Breach League, if you know what I mean. Like if you have the ability to get Breach with Zana 8, it's great. But other than that, you can't really get it much without Sextants.
The other one is like really good too. The one where you swap it around for SSF, it's really cool. Because like you don't have to go through all this bullshit to get your excavation or anything. Like
Yeah, that's
normally you'd be
Horizon,
like
right?
shaping.
Horizon,
Oh yeah. Then
Yeah,
those
like
are,
that
those
that
are
one's really
good.
nice. I've used a lot of that for like the little mapping I have done this league. I just haven't played much, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like because it's basically confirmed that it's here to stay now because they've upgraded the stash tab and the things they've added like has a set thing for like the Horizon Orb, doesn't it? So I would assume the fact that it's set there means that we're going to keep it, right? Otherwise they'd have just made it a blank square. So that's basically confirmed
Probably,
it's
yeah.
there to stay.
You know what? I really like how it's like kind of counter to it, but it's like for new players, right? Because a new player, what are the chances that they go into a Guardian map? Probably like very close to 0. But now if they keep using their Horizon Orbs, they can not only see that map, but like if it upgrades to a T10 beachhead or even a T5, a T10, or a T15 beachhead, they get that like boost of like difficulty, and they're like, oh, maybe I'll run this, and then they'll see like what that's like. And even if they don't, they can sell it. And if they sell a T11 or a T15 for 20 chaos, I mean, some people are like, oh, what's a build I can do for 10 chaos, right? You get that question a lot in your chat. So it helps like the new player experience, which is really nice, I think.
Oh, and apparently
I
it's
think so too.
annulment, sorry, not Horizons. Oh, also, one thing I wanted to ask you about, Raiz. So, because you're probably the only, like, proper ladder pusher. I know, Pohx, you do ladder a little bit at the start, but you don't,
I'm
like,
shit at racing. Don't ask me anything about it. I just kill mobs. That's literally all I do. That's it.
fair. How do you feel like the ladder is now that it's kind of been split between SSF and hardcore? Because my friend Kane, who, like, we've done a little bit of racing together in the past, but he was, like, rank I think he was the 5th person to get 100 in hardcore this league, and he was sleeping. So that was kind of like, oh shit, like, I was like really like, yeah, way to go, dude. But at the same time, I was kind of like, why are you getting this? This seems kind of like no one's trying that much this league. I don't know.
I would say nobody's really trying every league, honestly. Compared to like races, like 2 weeks and 1 weeks, in like actual league starts, nobody really was trying. I mean, Gucci Steel and Yovu really tried, and they got to 100 like way before anybody else. I mean, Havoc was kind of there, but then like his team died and stuff, so he took like a couple days to finish it off, even though he was at 99, I think, when they hit 100. To be honest, I was kind of the reason why I played SSF. That was like one of the factors. Like, it was a long story why I ended up playing SSF, because I wasn't supposed to play SSF. I was supposed to play on the other league, but then like a day before, people were like, I'm not gonna play the game. I'm kind of gonna play, but I'm not gonna race. Somebody's gonna play SSF. So like my entire team just basically went to shit. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna end up playing SSF. And part of that was just me thinking, okay, you know, everybody's playing the normal league. This should be much easier. And it ended up being that like the SSF race was super competitive, while the other one really wasn't. But overall, I would say they're never really that competitive. Like, ladder pushes, people don't really try that hard. That's why like ETAP, for instance, is super successful in ladder pushing, right? Because everybody just kind of starts sleeping or dies and stuff, and ETAP just kind of slowly gets there, and you know, you can get there pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that, like, in a way I kind of like it, because it means that the players who are like half decent but not that great get to feel like excited about pushing at the start. Like, I remember the last 2 week, I was in like the top 5 on the first day, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is wrong. Like, no. And then I died. So I was like, okay, it's fixed. It's normal now. It's normal. Like, good. But that was really weird. But so what is like? Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, I was with you. I was number 1 in that race for a while, leveling as a guardian. Or sorry, I was a Templar non-ascendant number 1 with RF totems, and I'm like, team, this should not happen. We're the good people at. I was like, what is this?
I mean, before SSF came out, I was first at 93 with Flame Blast totems, the Legend of the 4-Link Warrior, because I used like this was in Breach. I used 700 fusings and I didn't get a 5-link. So I was 93 with like Flame Blast totems, being first on the ladder, completely solo self-found. I'm like, you know, I should have been like way below, but just people weren't trying, you know?
Yeah. But so with the whole Atlas thing, what is like the TLDR? What should people be shaping? Because a lot of people have been like waiting for this episode to like, Tarke, what do I shape? I'm like, wait till Saturday, they'll tell you. So what do we do for each tier? Teach us, Senpai.
I think we should go over overall thoughts first, like,
okay,
with the, you know, to the changes to not as many rares, you know, not as many mobs overall in maps, because no leak stones, no breaches on every map and stuff like that. The gap between being the most efficient, like, try-hard player and being a casual who's playing, like, Sunder, you know, is much less than before. So I would say first, shape whatever you have the most fun doing. Like, we could be like, hey, you know, Canyon's great, Race Course is better, Beach is great, you know, if you want to do a low-tier shaped Atlas. But at the end of the day, as a newer player, you have to kind of pick what can I farm? If that is your goal, to farm maps and make the currencies, what do I have the most fun in? With that aside, as my build is Wander, and I think it really does determine it's your build. Are you shield charging or are you running? And I have to say, running feels a lot better. I've been shield charging for the last 2 leagues, and running is like 1,000% better in terms of smoothness, the feeling, the fun, the less stress from running into a tree and having stuff like eat your projectiles. And so as a Wander, you know, I want the most open possible. So I did Dunes for tier 10. And I think Canyon is incredible for T11, especially if you're playing some kind of build that has the Eshe's Mirror. So with that, that's for open layouts. If you're some kind of speed clear, I would say those two. Race Course is also like tried and true for sustain and just like reliability. And if you're like some other build, then I don't really know. Maybe you guys can weigh in on what you guys think.
Well, I feel
You go. You can go.
You go.
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
I was gonna say, I think honestly, as CuteDog said, pretty much anything you're having fun with, and if you want to try to be a little bit different, there's like nothing wrong with that, especially right now. Anything with triple bosses or even double bosses. So like examples. Oh god, what is the map you just said? What's the one with the Doge and the chicken?
Canyon.
Canyon. There you go. Canyon's great. Race course is great. Cemetery's even not that bad. Courtyard's pretty good. Bog is really good as well. Things that you enrage. I don't know how Arena is. I don't know about that one.
What about Spider Forest? Does it count as 2 bosses when she spawns the zombie bro?
I haven't noticed any drops off the zombie dude, but
Okay.
I have no clue on Spider Forest.
It's okay. I mean, people are finding doctors pretty not like frequently, but as frequently as you can expect from that card.
Right.
So there's like an added excitement over that for players.
That's
who
the
can,
cool thing.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I've never found an exalt all league. Bam, 11 exalts. You know, it's like crazy.
Mm.
This is basically
Absolutely.
what I wanted Pohx to speak, because we pretty much have the same opinion on this.
Oh,
But I feel like this is like where it really should have been from the beginning.
Yeah.
That depending on your build, depending on what you like, you can shape different maps. Where before it was like you have this set in stone scenario that you can't really modify. Like you can kind of do other things, but not really. It's like fucking, was it Mesa, Strand, Ashenwood, and Shore, and it was like you
Shore.
wouldn't mess with anything else. That was all you did. While now, yeah, there's like a legitimate decision behind it. Like definitely sextanting for me, like sextant blocking definitely impacted my decision a lot, because I still had to pick, like, so for instance, again, I would have done Strand, but I didn't because then I couldn't sextant it, and I feel like it's important to sextant your 11 to like sustain well, and the reason why I couldn't do that was because just Dunes is so strong. But if you have a build that really benefits from, like, if you're playing Blade Vortex, for instance, I feel like Mesa is better than Dunes. But Dunes was really good for me because I was playing SRS. There was like a lot of off-screening, and it's super good for sustain because there's so many mobs. It's pretty much like 700 mobs in every single one, like at least 600 plus. So that's really solid. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like before I was like, oh, GGG has to do all these things. They have to like move it around, maybe add new layouts, modify the sextant blocking, and they just did a couple simple changes, and it's so much variance now. There
That's
really
another
isn't
thing
a
I
wrong
like.
decision.
Before, people would sell like in bulk, right? Their Dune strands, and that was like a really good way to make money, especially since you can never run out. You'd have like quad tabs full of strands. Nowadays, with like Harbinger orbs, Horizon orbs, and things like that, map prices are like in the shitter. Like Guardian maps are like what, 5 or 6C. So now it's like not so much profit from selling maps unless you sell in like a huge quantity. So now I found myself like, if you're just farming currency, it doesn't even matter what map you run. I shaped like the really bad tier 9s, like Crypt, Orchard, Temple, and stuff like that, because if I'm only doing T10, T11, I don't want those maps to drop, right? So I'd rather have a Reef and Coves drop as a T9 than like the shitty ones, because I'm never going to drop those T14s anyways. So like, why not remove those from your atlas? So now like I run like these, like I run like a variety of maps now, and it feels pretty good.
Do you think this meta change, besides the density changes to the maps, do you think it has something to do with the meta change of the various builds? Like, for instance, you don't really play much Ball Spark anymore, or is it primarily just the density part that has changed the shaping meta?
I would say so. Like build variety is probably at an all-time high. Like, I feel like for whatever reason, like there's not so much pressure on shield charging anymore.
Yeah,
like before it felt like you really needed to shield charge to do well.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like, if you don't shield charge, it's okay. You're slightly slower, but like it's not that big of a deal, and you dodge a lot of the annoyances of running into trees and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird too, because they said they removed like so many of these tiny things, right? They evened out the terrain now, so it should feel more comfortable. Yet, yeah, I feel like not that many people focus on shield charging as much anymore.
Yeah, I really
That's
like that.
actually one of my favorite things with this league is the T15 Harbinger bat. You don't have to worry about your zoom clear speed. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like if you bring your friends with you who are like, they don't understand like what is it? Essence crafted gloves for like the 16% more attack speed, quality faster attacks, attack speed on every jewel. Once you get to the middle, it's like a survival. You don't have to go as fast as you need to. And I think that's actually really good because like myself, for example, I consider myself casual. I'm not trying to be super efficient at all times. And like, sometimes I don't want to have to put crazy investment just to be able to map with a group because they just go zooming so fast. So I like that change.
I also
Pohx
feel it
described
when
as
you.
casual.
I also feel it when you're creating a build nowadays that because of the nerfs to poison and ignites, things like that, you don't feel forced into picking that up if you, for instance, want to kill the shaper and things like that. And that for me is a big relief. I was getting tired of playing those types of builds if I wanted to do that. So for me, it's really opened up, and I'm even interested in playing skills that I knew was not particularly good before, because now they are actually decent skills that can keep up with the rest of the game. Really, really nice change for me.
I don't know. I kind of feel the opposite on that point. Like, I can definitely understand it opens up more options, but the one thing that I feel slightly more pigeonholed now. Like, we talked about this a little bit the other day. Like, okay, I want to play a lightning skill. Well, I can't really do poison now, so I'll go for the best lightning skill. Oh, none of them have amazing single target. And I feel like it limits it a little bit that way. Whereas you could make basically anything poison through conversion, so you could make any skill work. But the main thing that I like about not everyone doing poison now is I don't need to run a fucking wither totem in like every other build. That was the main thing which annoyed the hell out of me. It's like having dedicated 3 to 4 links to this stupid setup. And I like decoy totem. I know it's been nerfed. I still think that shit's overpowered as fuck. So good.
It's strong.
Yeah,
I think the totem's great.
Yeah. The best thing is if you're playing any kind of build which scales minions and you drop like Val Summon Skelly's decoy totem, you just like AFK for half an hour, come back, just like still chilling.
Do you want to know a really cool synergy with decoy totem if you play a Scion? If you pick out the Hierophant node for power charges, like whenever 50% chance when you do a totem or whatever, you get a power charge, you get +1 totem in your helmet. So you can play a dual totem build and put a decoy totem in your helmet and it casts for free.
Yeah,
it adds +1.
I did that some time ago too. Really nice setup. I really like, by the way, the Hierophant Scion. Such a nice way of generating power charges on totem builds, where it otherwise always feels a little annoying. You have to rely on that peacock setup.
Walk up and drop an Orb Storms and
pulse, exactly. Pulse, run away from the enemy again.
Okay, run back to the mob, summon my totems.
I did that on my charge dash character to proc Elemental Overload, and holy shit, that feels like crap doing it on that type of character, because you're zooming through the mobs constantly. So you're zooming into a pack of monsters, you've killed them, and then you drop it. You're hoping there's one straggler where it can proc on, but just felt, that was really bad.
Briefly, I don't know how you enjoyed Charge Dash. I don't know if it's because I played a lot of Flicker Strike, but when I was playing it, I was just like, this is just like a not Flicker Strike. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a decent skill. It's not a tier 1 skill in my opinion. I was able to do Guardians on it, but I tried Shaper and I didn't feel like I could pull off the damage, but maybe with a different type of setup, of course. But I think the whole balancing between movement speed and attack speed gets to be a little too tedious, because for that skill to feel really good, you want to have a lot of movement speed so that the animation is faster, right? But the more movement speed you have, the less attacks you're getting per charge. And that just, I mean, you can try to get a ton of attack speed, and I tried doing that, but eventually it just, yeah. Maybe the animation should be a little faster by itself from the base. I also feel like it should have a little more area of effect.
Yeah, that was the main thing for me. Because like when I first leveled it, I leveled as 2-hand. It felt great, but like when you left a straggler, it pissed you off. You go, oh, it doesn't matter, like because you're just leveling, right? So like when you're leveling, it doesn't matter if you leave like a few half packs here or there. And then I was like trying to actually farm up before Katava, so I was like caring about XP per hour, and I was like, I'm leaving like 2 mobs of every blue pack. This feels shit. Hang on.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if I was playing Flicker Strike right now, it would just feel smoother to play, and I wouldn't leave stragglers.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Flicker Strike felt smooth to play.
Like, no,
What
like,
did you just say?
I really like Flicker Strike. I basically only
me
play
too.
Flicker Strike for like 2 leagues, but I actually have quite bad light sensitivity because of like a lot of the medications I have to take for Crohn's and stuff, and it was actually giving me really bad migraines, so I had to stop playing it.
It gives everybody bad migraines.
I lasted like 50 days of Flicker Strike, like best skill, like let's go, and then it was like I was streaming and I don't know what it was. I was like, every time I was like, guys, I just don't feel like streaming today. I don't know why. Like I'm getting really tired really early on, and then I changed skill. I'm like, oh, it was just Flicker Strike was literally like killing me. That was it. I changed skill and I was like playing for 12 hours a day. Let's go.
Isn't that the same for everybody? I feel like everybody goes through that Flicker Strike period, like where you play it for the first time. It's like, this is the best thing ever. I'm gonna play this forever. I went through that in like Onslaught or something with like a 2-handed Marauder. I was like, wow, this is the best ever. And then people would be like, yo, this is like really annoying to look at. I'm like, yeah, but when you're playing it, it doesn't even feel that bad. You just get used to it. And then like every day it would be like, oh, I feel really sick. I don't know what's going on. It's like, what do you mean? I've been playing Flicker Strike for 3 weeks now.
The cool thing about playing Flicker Strike is, though, that it starts out being so overwhelming, how fast it is, and you can't keep up. But it's really cool to see how your brain just adapts to it.
Yeah.
And when you've played it for a while, you actually have a pretty decent idea of what's going on. I really like that. Charge Dash, however, is like the highest maintenance skill
It's
ever.
so
Holy
obnoxious.
fuck.
So
That
obnoxious.
constant positioning back and forth if you're killing a boss. Oh, so much work.
It's really
I saw-
dense game.
I watched Etup stream Charge Dash the first couple days, and I watched him like mid 80s doing map bosses, and I wanted to punch myself in the face because of just how tedious it looked, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird. But Flicker Strike, on the other hand, I had a different approach to it. I use a Green Dream on my RF guy, and I can also use Blood Rage. So I was actually clearing maps with Flicker Strike instead of Shield Charge, and I just put Fortify, and then it would proc EE, Fortify, it would crit. And I was just blinking around maps. I actually use it for PvP for Leo daily. I put in Conk Effect with RF and just Flicker Strike right to the person with RF on. It's pretty good.
God, that reminds me when Cutthroat happened. There was a Cutthroat race not too long ago, and like the build that I kept on hearing about was like Flicker Strike Blade Vortex, where you just flicker on top of somebody and just blow up. And I kept hearing about that, but then I didn't realize that they changed the way Blade Vortex worked. Like, since I've heard that opinion, and then I tried it, it was like the most awful thing ever. I get like 20 stacks, I'm like, I'm about to go fuck this guy up, and I flicker on top of him and it would just do nothing. I'm like, oh shit, it would just blow me up with like one sunder and just explode everywhere. Like, fuck, dude. My build.
I think that briefly, the best thing about every Cutthroat is just that one dude who's like, they forgot about Arc Mines. I'm just gonna do Arc Mines.
Oh my god.
Fucking Arc Mines is so good, man. And there's always that one dude like, okay, so I'm gonna like Frost Wall and I'm gonna Cold Snap and I'm gonna Bear Trap Bleed. So like, if he runs from the puncture, he'll take bleed damage, but he can't run if he's Bear Trapped. And this guy's just like, Arc Mine dead. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and like bounces off of the other mines too, like off of your traps and shit, so it just kills you instantly. Like, holy shit.
Have you seen Arc Mines, like when you're actually like geared, like high level, what it does?
Yeah, I mean, I
been
played it a
curious
few
about
weeks
how-
ago. It's really good.
I've seen your build.
I did it last league, and I PvP'd against a guy with 100% lightning res and killed him with one hit, like with one deployment, because of how much pen I had. I was dueling one of my friends who's also low life RF, so we had $100 res if you use like Topaz, Ruby, Sapphire with what's the Magic Fine Flask called? Divination Distillate.
Yeah.
You can hit $100 res and just pierce right through. It's pretty
Nice.
crazy.
Oh,
How
one
does it
thing.
feel against
Oh, go.
in-game bosses?
It does good damage, but I mean, back then I only had like I was pushing like 9.8k with the shabs, so I'd probably have like 6.5 or 7k right now. So I'd have to redo it with like Mind Over Matter, probably using Agnerod, and I think it would be okay.
There are a few ways of doing it. You can do like, well, people used to do old school dual void battery assassin. You could like absolutely molest Shaper with it. Like there are a few videos of people just like destroying him with it. But since you mentioned it just briefly, Divination Distillate, Waggle is currently doing Mind Over Matter RF just so he has 100% uptime on that flask. Like the new Mind Over Matter lets you do some really dumb things with that flask. You can maintain it 100% so easy because it just burns through your mana fast and you regen it. So you just have 100% uptime. So broken. It gives
That's pretty
res,
nice.
gives quant, gives all this stuff.
Yep.
It's
That's what I ran on my low life RF, but instead of using Mind Over Matter, you can just scale your shield charge to be fast enough to just drain your mana faster than you can gain it back with a Divination Distill.
I hate using that flask. Otherwise,
Yeah, same.
super annoying.
It's very tedious, but if you can get a setup running with it properly, it feels so good to basically have like purities on it all time.
Super powerful too.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back in 30 seconds, guys.
Sure. Right, so in that case, let's talk about Lab for the next 30 seconds. No, Oh, and one last thing quickly I want to talk about on Atlas, since I really aren't aware of the scene. Are people still doing it where you're like, you have no 12, so you're feeding into your 11s, or are people like not giving a shit about that anymore?
You can still do that.
Yeah, you can still do it, but I don't think people care as much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in a little bit of a pickle with that because I couldn't find a good T14 for me. Because like the only good T14s would be like Coves and Reef, but both of those had those underground mobs that I was talking about earlier, so they were really fucking up my SRS. So I was like, well, I can't really shape those, so I didn't realize that they changed Promenade. So I was like, let me run one Promenade. Like I even prepared. I was like, let me run one Promenade just to be sure. And I got like apparently it has like four or five different layouts. And I got the really good layout on Promenade. I was like, wow, Promenade's really good. Let me shape it. And I shaped it. I was like, never again. But then I was like, okay, I can just get rid of it. But since I was playing with the Wicker Man, my only high level map that had those where I can summon them with Desecrate was the fucking Promenade. So I was like, oh my god, no. I was really fucked on that because I wanted to get rid of it just to have, because I had a 15, I shipped Underground River. By the way, don't do that either. That's a very bad idea. For whatever reason, Underground River, I tried it out, right, as a tier 10, and I did the boss, and the boss, like, it did some damage, but, I could hold it still with a decoy totem. It was rather okay. And then I shaped it, and it was T15, and with no map mods, the first time I ran into the boss, he, like, fucking drop kicked me for 7,500 life, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'm out. See you later. Never did the boss ever again. Do not shape that map.
That wasn't even the earthquake. It was just
no. He just like dropped down on me for 7.5k. And I
oh
was just
my
like,
god!
Holy fuck! If this had any map mods, it would have just instantly given me. I'm like, okay. Not a good idea. Don't do that. Maybe if you have, a lot of armor. I don't even know. The thing is fucking crazy.
Speaking of armor, did you see what Hotshot was doing, by the way, when he was streaming for a little bit? Oh my god, this is hilarious. He went, he had like a level 81 Juggernaut, maybe not even 80, maybe like 75 Juggernaut, and I think he hit like 75k armor with a brass dome on, and he was like just face tanking Minotaur, taking like shocked. Full Minotaur slam, standing in 3 circles of rocks, taking like 20 damage a rock, maybe 250 damage a slam, spending like 13 minutes, but guaranteed kills Minotaur like any map mods. It was hilarious.
My Hotshot always does some bullshit like that. I
Yeah,
remember when he was farming Lab, he was like permanent immortal calling with some essence drain character or something, just standing there for 20 minutes trying to kill
Juggernaut essence drain. That's what it was. I think he was
like, what the fuck is that? And then I don't remember. He like died a really funny way, but I can't remember what it was. I was like, what the fuck, dude? What is this shit?
I like it. I think it's funny.
Okay. Well, so I don't know if this has been addressed recently, since I haven't noticed it as much, but I want to quickly talk about the whole, like, Peewee trade and wiki. Ooh, nice drink. That's some fucking ASMR right there.
Ooh, yeah, it's fizzy.
Yeah, it's an energy drink. So not very sophisticated.
Do we have a new sponsor? Like, who's sponsoring this episode?
That would be EDG.
Not really.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay, never mind. So yeah, the whole, like, Peewee trade, API going down, wikis and stuff, like, is it time that Geeky finally addresses it, or will it get better? Will it just get worse? So there's more people on Xbox using, well, Xbox players using wiki lol, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what the Xbox is for. They're testing out the new trading in the Xbox so they can import it here. That was the whole point of the Xbox.
Wait, but what
How
exactly
is it the Xbox training works?
Yeah.
The Chinese one where you search for listings, but they're vague.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That does not
It's-
sound good.
Okay, so basically, everyone, if you guys want to do this, if you go to poe.trade, there's an Xbox like button. You can switch it. Okay. So if you click Enable Xbox One mode, you're very limited with your options. You select your league, you select your type, and you select the base, and you hit search. So basically, if you type in coral and you hit search, anything listed with the tag coral, including white items, will pop up. So you have to filter through. I don't even know how many items to find what you want. So it's pretty obnoxious. Like I typed in Corsair just to see like Corsair swords, and it was just, dude, there's like hundreds of items listed. Like there are people selling
Oh my god.
blue, red, green, or sorry, like the RBG colors for like 1 chrome. Like they're selling chromatics for 1 chrome. I have no clue what's going on with this Xbox trade.
Oh,
It's like
God.
the universe.
I love how it says your query is too broad. Sorted results may be inexact. It's like, what do you mean? I don't have any options. What the fuck?
Do you think this is why PoE trades like locking up sometimes? You have to like refresh it a shit ton to get the search results to pop up and
Yeah, dude, people find like a 6 property shabby jerkin on Xbox. They list it for like 14 chaos. They're like, I made money, dude.
I mean, that's kind of what it was in Diablo 3, though. No, where like it wasn't. It was quite vague at first, and then they kind of added a little bit more options, but still to search for like the exact items and a unique item, it was kind of hectic.
Tarke, what did you type in?
I don't even have a
What?
search
Oh,
option.
I just see someone selling 20 alterations, a random
Oh,
coral ring,
one
a divination card. Like, what is it?
No, but
What is
okay,
there?
if anyone is playing PoE Trade right now, add Mighty Rangers to your friends list. 20 alterations for a Chrome. That's gonna be worth, yeah.
Yes. No, so they really then they haven't. I saw a screenshot where it said like there was an in-game trading board. So what happens when you click that
I'm
on
guessing
Xbox?
this. I really have
Wait, it
no clue. That
opens
was-
this.
I have no clue. Like, I assumed there was some type of integration somewhere. I really have no clue. I'm shooting in the blind here, but anyone play Xbox? I was supposed to buy an Xbox just to play it.
I
you gonna buy an
mean,
Xbox to play it right now or like later when you get maybe a little bit bored with the PC?
Well, I got
It's an
accepted.
Xbox.
wait, when you get bored of the PC, what?
You know, like if no. All right, Mr.
Stop.
Screechy Laugh. Let me just roll
Mute it.
back on that one.
Summon the god.
When later in the league, when you're like kind of bored of PoE, right? And you're like, let's try something new. And then you go to console, and then you win some races maybe.
Win
Yeah,
some
that's what I'm
races.
thinking. Did you guys hear
Raise
that?
QT is gonna dominate some
You're
people
gonna
on
go race
Xbox.
on console, Rise? I'm gonna go
No,
get
no,
a
no.
joystick and boot it in and race you.
Bro, I totally would, because have you heard about the China release? The person who
I-
gets number 1 over there gets like the equivalent of like $6,000, bro. And after like 24 hours of the China release being out, the highest person was level 64.
Well, dude,
Like,
I'm gonna go join the race.
Dude, legitimately, it would be like worth it for me to fucking move to China. And the best part is you can like resurrect yourself too.
Oh yeah, you pay
For
$33
$30 or something?
Yeah, you can res
In
yourself.
hardcore.
Yeah,
Yep, the hard
resurrect
cards.
yourself.
You can swipe
Yeah,
your
yeah.
credit card
But
and
I
come back to life.
think it puts you out of the race. But like, legit, $6,000, dude. That's a lot of money. I could move to China for like 2 weeks, try to do the race, and then come back, man.
I mean,
I don't know.
wouldn't they do that thing? I remember with Hearthstone, they got really upset. I think this was I'm pretty sure it was China. They got really upset they didn't win a tournament, so they offered to buy a Ferrari for a Chinese player to win a tournament.
What?
Yeah, like Hearthstone bros will know what I'm talking about. But this was like, I think Seat Story like 1 or 2 years ago, they got really upset like they didn't win anything, and they had like these exclusive prizes if only Chinese players were. It was a Chinese. So there's one dude who plays Hearthstone in chat. It's like there was a Chinese tournament a while ago, and it was like all the Chinese players got a Ferrari, and if you weren't from China, you got like a few $1,000 EDs. So I don't know.
I want a Ferrari.
I want more of that stuff. I feel like a lot more people would be interested in racing if you fucking made
Yeah,
it.
dude.
Promise them a Ferrari. That
Dude, the end, like the 1,000 point, like from the race is gonna have like the keys to a new car, right? Your selection.
Yeah.
First person to get Katava down wins a Honda Civic. Let's go, boys.
That's a nice car.
Yeah.
That's a fine car. But you can't participate in the Chinese race, can you, Rice? You have to get like. You need to be,
honestly, I'm too
They have a weight
lazy.
limit.
I haven't really looked into
Weight
it,
classes.
but
Okay.
people have been telling me that you need like some Chinese ID, which is called a QQ, which would very much fit me, I think. But you need something, and then it maybe works. You got a VPN, but then probably if you're European, then you've got like 400 ping on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you stream it, they're gonna like flag you.
Yeah,
Even
they're
if
just
you
gonna
have
be
a-
like, fuck off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, this
yes.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
USA #1.
Isn't it in
China
Korea where
number
you have
one.
your gaming accounts associated with your social security number? In
Yeah, I
various
think
parts
so.
of Korea, there's some MMOs where I know you have to sign up with that, so you can't abuse your account and things like that.
Well, isn't it like RMT prevention too?
Yeah, I guess
Like
that works
China?
too. That way. Yeah.
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 Okay. Just for the sake of us getting labelled as being a mildly offensive podcast. Remember, we have the token CuteDog. This is why we've kept him on for so long. He doesn't speak. Why? At one point, we're going to an offensive accent, but it's okay because CuteDog's here. Yeah.
USA number 7.
Number 7. I'm not-
Oh god. But yeah, so apparently we're getting a new expansion coming out in December. We've got Xbox launch, Chinese launch, all this stuff. Like, how are they getting the time for this shit? Like, what?
Chris is Superman.
Oh, you guys saw that fucking one thread on Reddit where oh gosh, what was it? They were one of the people from GGG responded to like a thread
Yeah.
about something being delayed. I can't remember what it was. Do you know, Lifting?
Yeah, I can't remember the thread, but it's where Chris corrects him.
Yeah, somebody responded with like from GGG with oh, this was pushed back because of the China and Xbox release. Like something that needed an immediate fixing. And then Chris immediately jumped in and he's like, I don't mean to correct a coworker, but the China and Xbox release has nothing to do with anything. Like, that guy's fucking fired. Like, he spilled the beans. I mean, come on.
Jeez.
Does GGG
The
really
one
say
thing you
that?
couldn't say.
Yeah, that's literally the one thing you can't say that the other releases impact the PC game. That was pretty messed up. And the guy like edited his thing. He's like, I got corrected by the lead developer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, dude. Why
That's
did you
okay,
get corrected? You got
probably.
fucking fired.
It's probably best not even to edit that message.
Yeah.
That just looks like, it makes it worse, right?
No,
Looks like a
what you do is you just like, hey guys, sorry, someone hacked my Reddit account.
It was my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the new expansion, though, is going to be labeled the fall of PoE.trade because the Xbox One is going to flood PoE trade, and we're going to get a new trade system. I have no clue. That's what I hope. I think like a minor expansion like that, even though I think that would be a major expansion, I don't know. I can't really imagine what expansion they're going to drop in. What are they expanding?
It has to be
Finishing up the
end
game.
game. Yeah.
You're talking about
Finishing
like
up
what,
the
next
the
week?
expansion.
Wait, did you not
Yeah.
know about this, Raiz? They've said that they're dropping an expansion in December.
Yeah, but that's different though. They said December, right? So this league's gonna be 4 months.
Yeah.
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 So instead of
So-
having just a major patch, we're getting an expansion again.
Oh.
I can't help but think if that's just good PR, like because there's so many new players with this expansion, and it just sounds really, really good to say that we have an expansion happening already again in 6 months or in December.
Well,
know.
they want to get back on their previous schedule, right? Because that's what it would be.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
if
that's
they really wanted that, they would do that.
I mean, I
Right.
think it's gonna be something like it's just gonna be heavy end game with like new tile sets from all the new zones, and
Yeah.
they're really going to like work on mobs. And they had that one project with like champion mobs or whatever, where every pack would have like very special mobs with like a very special setup, like one strong mob. they kind of implemented that, but not really. And that was like an entire thing
yeah.
that they talked about, and that completely like disappeared, right? Like
Yeah,
Chris
they
was
said
talking about it, and then it just kind of went away. Nobody talks about it anymore. So maybe that was under wraps, and now they're going to release it. That would be like a very good setup for endgame. New tile sets, new mobs, and then new big boy mobs.
Be
There
very
was
The funny
some
thing
expansion
though
for
is
endgame.
come out.
what really sets an expansion apart from a major patch. I mean, Atlas of Worlds. That was what was it we had in between or after that Atlas of Worlds? Was Atlas of Worlds, was that an expansion or was that a
Yeah,
major
That
Yeah,
was
that
patch?
was an
2.0,
expansion.
right?
Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
2.0.
It was an expansion, okay. What was after that?
Breach, wasn't it?
No, I think Breach was during Atlas of
No, it
Worlds,
wasn't.
right?
No, Atlas was Essence. I know
Oh, it
this
was
because I
Essence,
didn't
I
play
believe.
yeah.
that league. Breach was my first league with the new Atlas system.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
Breach and
Okay.
Legacy after, right?
Yeah.
And now it's this one.
I was just trying to think if there's actually been some major patches that has been at the size of an expansion so far.
No,
Not since
because Atlas is
Atlas.
huge.
Well, now.
Like that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
completely
and
augments the
Lab
way you
too,
play the
right?
game.
Yeah,
Atlas and Labyrinth. So I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is the big major patch, right? 3.0.
I think this is a little bit unfinished. You know, we have Pantheon uninspired. We have no new tile
Yeah.
sets for maps, even though they had the assets in place. Like even small things that you look at, like the Groost fight, that's supposed to change, and they said that was going to change based
Yeah.
on our decisions. That's
Mm.
not in the game yet. So there's these little things that once they polish it up, I'm
Reflect.
sure they can make. I'm sure they can make
The
the
choice,
end
yeah,
game a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, I'm like excited to do this final thing.
I mean, it makes sense for them, right? Because their previous schedule, like where they launch in December, like that's a really big deal. That
Yeah.
because like
Mm.
imagine if they would launch in January, like that just makes no sense.
So on the topic of the Pantheon, really fast,
Oh,
minor
go
thing.
on. Yeah.
Have you wait? Have you guys tried? So you know how you have to basically like if you want to get the lower end ones, the end of the I don't know, like the end of the major gods for like the last buffs, you have to run like red tier maps basically, right? Which is going to mess up your Atlas. Have you guys tried to go around that and see what happens? Like if you tried to buy a kill for your Pantheon? Does that
I
make
know
any
from
sense?
your video that it doesn't work.
Yeah, if you so say you need torture chamber, right? And you're like, okay, I don't want it on my Atlas. I'm gonna buy a kill. So you ask some guy to come in. You open up the map for him. You know, you put the divine vessel in, and he goes and runs it, and he kills the boss. When he kills the boss, it deletes it. It just goes away. You don't. Nobody gets it. It's gone.
Oh,
Dang,
really?
Can't even. It's gone completely.
didn't know that.
So you're forced to pretty much go into your Atlas and then remove if you want to get it. I don't like using the term forced, but you have to basically remove it.
I really I didn't like the Pantheon system before. I made like 3 videos complaining about it, and then I had 3 videos being called an idiot in the comments. You had the same thing, Pohx, like in the beta.
That's
Um,
life, yeah.
But now we're in this really fun situation in quotation marks where it's like, oh, Pantheon is individual but is tied to the Atlas system, but the Atlas system is not individual per character. And it's like, it's shit for hardcore players, it's shit for softcore players, it's only good for people who only play 1 character per league. Or the people who don't engage with Pantheon at all. So it's just like,
Yep.
way to go. Like, 10
That's
out of
why I
10.
don't want to. I don't want to just go to 100 because I've already invested in the character. I finished the Pantheon, you know.
It kills
I
me
kind of
that-
like the Pantheon system. I think it's
Oh,
a fun,
hang on.
small
Give me
thing.
a second. I need to get rid of it. Okay, continue. Sorry. I don't want this idiot on my podcast anymore. Sorry. Other people were talking. No, go on lifting. Go on lifting.
I just feel like it's a small minor thing that adds some extra for you to farm for near end game. And in my opinion, that's really what Path of Exile needs, some more meaningful end game. It may be, you know, a minor change that it adds to your character, but still, if you are like, and a lot of Path of Exile players are right, we want as many upgrades as we can for our characters. So it is something we will seek out. I can agree it kind of sucks if you ruin your Atlas by doing it. That seems unintentional. But the system isolated, I actually find it to be quite fun farming
I would
those
agree,
characters.
to be
up.
honest. Like I don't really like it doesn't seem like a thing that took a lot of effort, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like if it was something where it's like, we've been planning
Yeah.
this for 3 months for everybody. It's going to be crazy. Like they kind of hyped it up, but really, they have a tendency of doing that. But when you look at it, it doesn't add mechanics or it doesn't do anything for bosses. It's just like it gives you these things. That's probably not difficult to set up. And it doesn't really modify the encounters with the actual bosses outside of like them having 10% more damage or something.
Mm.
So it's something simple that doesn't take time and adds to the gameplay. I don't really mind it. It's just not very impactful. Although, for me, it was a pretty big deal because, on summoner builds, the number one thing that really fucks you is chain.
Yeah.
And you can get the thing that makes you avoid all chained projectiles, which
It's
is
huge. Yeah.
incredibly strong. Yeah, on my previous character when I was playing an elementalist, I can't remember what it was, but I died to like some sort of chaining through my golems, and with this I wouldn't have died, so that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but
The Reflect Pantheon is pretty significant too.
Like I think
it's even
that's
a
the
minor
core
one.
issue with it though, because it's like if you look at it in a vacuum, yeah, it's like okay, probably didn't take that much development time. It's more options, seems good, but like before Pantheon even existed, before we even knew what it was, I was making the argument that best case scenario, it does nothing in such a way that people aren't balanced around having it. Like it doesn't affect the game balance, so it's either like so insignificant that it doesn't skew player balance. At which point, what's the point because it's such an insignificant system, or it's so powerful that it kind of becomes like Ascendancy 2.0. What we kind of have now is we have like a handful of builds which get these really cool things. So like for summoners, that's huge. For RF, the whole like upgraded Arakali lightning thing is like really cool. Because like you're getting all this like extra power for very like niche builds. But for most builds, it's kind of like,
I feel like maybe it's also unfinished because it is a
Yeah,
thing
it's
for
definitely
end game,
unfinished.
right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think it's one of those things where if the next thing is an actual expansion, right? I can see them really putting a lot of effort into it because it's synergize. If it's new tile sets and new bosses, this sort of synergizes with it. Because technically we're beating like new gods and all that sort of stuff, and they're now in maps instead of like just a playthrough. That they're gonna put gods into maps, and that could be pretty major, right? And
Mhm.
also again works into that whole thing where there's gonna be these champion mobs with mobs and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I think
feel-
that's pretty cool.
I was gonna say, if honestly, in the current state of the Pantheon, if they just leave it alone, but make it account bound rather than character
Yeah,
bound,
that
I
would
think
be
it'll
huge, yeah.
really make a much bigger incentive. They can make it so it still ruins your Atlas. That's okay. Just make it so you don't have to ruin your Atlas for every single character
Over
you
and
play on.
over, yeah.
Yeah, just do it one time, and then in the future they can come back and basically, based off what their statistics are, they can add in things that they think people need, like other defensive options, just minor things, to make it more tailored to niche builds. Because as you said, right now, unless you have a character, like unless you almost build around a Pantheon, like avoid projectiles that have chained, etc., there's really not much benefit to them.
I don't think, I don't think like Pantheon should ever be defended in its current state
Right.
because, look, I know a lot of the community hates when you compare things in the past, right? So, for example, they say you can't hate on Harbinger League because there was Breach and Parandus, right? We're spoiled by Breach and Parandus, but we shouldn't feel bad about like having good leagues in the past and comparing it to that and being like, oh well, that was a one-off, right? We should be like, we should be expecting from our game devs that they make inspired and very fun league mechanics every time. I think that's pretty fair to say. So it would be like saying with the current Pantheon system, it's like, oh, it's pretty bad, but only because Atlas is so crazy, right? Like Atlas, me as an experienced player, it still takes me a couple weeks to get my Atlas going. I'm still hunting for those, like right now I'm still hunting for Parandus Manor, right? And trying to, or I could just buy that. But you guys know what I mean. It takes time even for experienced players. If you strip away the things that you're not going to be doing after the first, 10 hours of the game, the leveling content, the new content, what are we left with besides Harbinger League? We have the Pantheon system. And if I look at my Pantheon right now, I can do 3 maps to get my major power juiced up, and I do 1 map to get my minor power. How long does that take, right? Like 30 minutes to it doesn't make any sense to me
But
when I'm
does
like
it have
looking
to
at
be-
this.
Does it have to be
Like, it
that
doesn't do
impactful?
anything.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know what people were expecting. Like, people were like, "Oh my God, I'm so hyped for 3.0. It's like, Rise, how fucking hyped are you? Are you as hyped as I am?" And I'm just like, I'm not that hyped, guys. Leveling takes like 6 hours, you know? I fucking
Yeah,
finished leveling and I'm mapping. Like, how
I
different
felt the
can mapping
same.
really be? So that's kind of what it is. It drew in a lot of players. It probably made GGG a fuck ton of money. And now, you know, they can manage to make a expansion apparently immediately after. And it's not like, you know, it's not like they've made that decision yesterday, right? They weren't like, we're gonna make an expansion and then we're gonna make a league and stuff. Like they knew that they're going to make an expansion after an expansion, you know?
Mm.
Probably from the scraps of the things that they've been trying to put together for like the longest time. And yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. And I feel like that's like a legitimate concern from a lot of people, even though mapping for me has felt quite fresh. Honestly, a lot of people are complaining, but because of all the new mobs and like all the new shit that you have to watch out for and all the new mechanics that mobs have, mapping feels pretty good. Like it feels like a different experience. It's still the same tile sets, but
I'm
Um,
gonna have to agree but disagree with you. So it's like kind of both ways because I actually think that GGG kind of doesn't know what they're doing. And I say that as a guy who played beta every single day up until this expansion. When they did the ailment changes, I will totally give them the benefit of the doubt. If the beta is totally imbalanced, that's what beta is for. But the fact that they said that their bleed was so bad, they have to create a new keystone that they had no clue they needed to put in kind of confuses me sometimes with like a little bit of like I don't know. Like I feel like they have good ideas, but they're really bad at executing them sometimes.
what do you mean? No, but they also it was different because they you also have now the whole like two-handed weapons also increase the damage of your ailment, which wasn't in the beta.
Right,
So
right. That wasn't in the beta at all.
Yeah, that was an
But like
yeah,
example of like we don't really have a solution. Fuck it, let's just add nodes to everything.
yeah, they put in the bleed keystone because bleed was literally you couldn't do anything, but they had no clue that wasn't their intention.
I don't feel like it's a matter of not knowing what the fuck they're doing. I feel like it's a matter of just the amount of resources they have.
yeah.
Like it just feels like they ran out of time. Honestly, they kept pushing it back, and everything kept getting pushed back. Like they pushed back shit like four
But this
times
is
to the point where it was really bad
Mhm.
communication with the community. People found out that they're pushing back a, an expansion by looking
mhm.
at some random website that just changed the number to the next month, which was really bad. But
this is this
yeah,
is what I was afraid of when I heard about the 3.0 and you saw all the new acts and the presentation of that. Because you have to think to yourself, if they're putting all that effort into this, it means they won't be able to put as much effort into something like balance, right? And I think it's just a matter of resource allocation in this case. I don't say that's necessarily it's not defending them, but it's to be expected, right? And I think that's why we're
yeah,
also seeing an expansion very
yeah.
soon
Don't get me
because
wrong. It's not good that they're doing something
yeah,
like this, right?
yeah,
It's not. I don't think they were planning it either. Like when you think about it, like for instance, when they did the 2 week race, right? And it was voided, and the MTX system should have been out, but it wasn't. So if the MTX system would have been out
yeah,
for the beta and for the race, it would have made them a lot of money.
yeah.
But
It's
it
gotta
wasn't out, and they fucked up, and they lost. Like we're talking about millions here because of this like one pretty major fuck up.
Mm.
From
yeah,
the player's point of view, you know, not that big of a deal. We're kind of used to having a shit MTX system. When the MTX system came out, it's great. Like it's an amazing system. But I guarantee they would have never done the voided race and they would have never done the beta the way they did if they knew that the MTX system like won't be there.
hmm. Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
was
they shoot themselves in the foot sometimes, but it's not. I don't feel like it's a matter of just like MTX system gonna work or not. Oh, it doesn't work. Like they kind of know what they're doing, you know?
Do you worry a little bit then that because I think we'll all agree that while generally it's been a pretty good expansion launch, there is more work needed. Do you then worry that if they're then going to do another like big expansion, is the very next like league or update that it's just gonna like keep things on the back foot. They're not giving themselves like a catch-up time. Like if the next if the next patch was just like, it's a patch, we're gonna fix on the balance, maybe like 1 or 2 new things, then an expansion afterwards, then it might, I don't know, work schedule wise.
I feel they really reverted back to what they used to be doing. Like, think about it. When was the last league that they, like, outside of Perandus, because Perandus was just bugged to shit and laggy, and that's when like all the performance shit started. But it's been so long since they had the approach of, we release a league, and basically the first month we're testing and improving it and balancing. Normally they would release a league and they would just kind of move on to the next project because they wouldn't have enough time. And I feel like that was a huge build up to 3.0, where constantly the leagues were not quite there. They were pretty good, but not. There were always things that were kind of annoying that they could have just changed, fixed, and all that, like the micromanagement of Legacy. What was it about Breach? I remember there was something like annoying about Breach.
There was like
Tull. They nerfed Tull.
There was
That
Tull.
something.
There was Undying Mobs, but that all kind of got like fixed relatively soonish.
Yeah, but like
you know?
it's a month into the league almost now, and they're fixing the league, and they clearly like have time to it, and they're rebalancing it, which really hasn't happened, I feel like, for a long time. So I feel like now they finally caught up, and they're like, okay, let's fix this league, let's fucking optimize this, let's figure this out, and then the next big expansion is going to be from all these things that we were working on that we didn't manage to fix just due to lack of time, so it had to get postponed. But we're almost there. So I feel like now the game's going to be a lot more polished.
You guys remember when the announcement came out of we're making round 2 of changes to Harbinger within the week? And we're like, okay, 6 or 7 days. 2 days later, patch comes out.
That was one thing.
I was like, what the? That was amazing.
I was actually really annoyed because I had like a whole topic about like, are they doing too little, too late? Like seriously, it's gonna take you a week to slightly increase spawn rates, and then they just go and do the change. It's like, come on, guys, like, could you have not waited till the day after Baeclast? Like, you just like stole the whole section of conversation.
Yeah.
But
I'm happy to see that though.
Oh no, obviously, like it's really good. But when I first read it, I was like, ooh, a week for that. But then the fact they just like shipped it was like, oh, I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, I think their goal is definitely like push out their next expansion content, and then they're definitely gonna work on like all the quality of life again until their next big thing. Because this expansion that we got right now and the Xbox release is probably like the biggest weight lifted off their shoulders.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. For sure. I'm curious to see if the next expansion is actually gonna make that choice you have to make in Act 10 or 9 matter, like who leads the town now.
Oh,
you're talking about where you get the skill point or the you get to choose from the power charge, endurance, frenzy charge?
Yeah, exactly, that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I accidentally chose a skill point, but
I chose the frenzy charge the first time, and it doesn't even work for my build.
Yeah.
I'm a summoner.
They really don't communicate like the effect your choice has on the character, but I'm sure they'll patch that in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be able to change it. 20 regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that actually in the game right now?
Yeah.
It's like I'm getting... I don't read anything in this game. I just stopped and turned in quests, so I have no clue. I actually, when I was playing through, I couldn't even see the Act 8 boss. It was invisible the whole time on my screen.
Did you notice you have to make a choice in Act 9, Pohx?
Yeah.
No, I honestly 100% had no clue.
You have Raptor Lady or Tasuni to lead the town?
Yeah.
Whoa, no spoiler tag? Like, bro, there's one dude on Xbox really upset right now, and you just ruined Act 9. Like, what's wrong with you?
All right, for everyone in the chat, it's not an actual decision. It's a skill point no matter what you choose for the reward. It's just like over the last like couple weeks, there was a stay when I was like, oh yeah, I chose the power charge in Act 9 for the reward from Raptor, because everyone chooses Tasuni. Well, most of the time they choose Tasuni, and so you're like, oh yeah, save the Raptor Lady. I chose power charge, and people were like, wait, what? And people were like thinking about re-rolling their characters because at that time they were like level 50 or 60. It was like, oh god.
One thing I do like from the new bandit rewards is the people who still ask like, what bandits did you take for this build? My friend Kane sent me a message. He got a whisper. Someone was like, "Oh, what bandits did you take on your Sunder build?" He's like, "Alira." They're like, "Oh, cheers, bro." And I was like, "Oh god." Like, bro.
I helped Oak.
Wait, what? Why the fuck did you help Oak?
No, that's the thing. I did it. Nobody does.
Good,
this
right?
shit.
Okay, cool.
I did, dude. I helped Oak for the
I
longest
felt
time
fucking-
until I
Oh my
respect
god.
I did. I was like 1% life regen. I mean, when am I gonna get some life regen on my RF bill? I guess I'll take this right now. 2%
Amazing
physical
idea.
For
damage.
RF,
damage.
it sort of makes sense.
It's okay. It's okay, but I respect it later when I got a cones for the extra life. But that's about it.
God damn
Because
it.
all the little newbies come in my chat. Mr. Pohx Kappa, I thought you said you could run RF at level 18. I'm running RF, but I die in 1 second. How come? I'm like, just go help Oak. It'll fix it.
Yeah.
Just go help Oak. Get
Yeah.
Let's help Oak at 20.
Did you level from 18 this time around too with Righteous Fire?
This time I started RF at like 32 with no uniques.
Yeah.
That's really
Okay.
awkward,
Oof.
but it worked out pretty okay.
I'm curious, Pox. How the fuck can you keep playing so much Righteous Fire? Like,
Dude, it's really like not
Shield
that bad.
charge,
So, like,
bro.
yeah, look,
Nice
you
one,
look
yes.
at it and you think of anything that's annoying in this game, okay? So like volatiles are pretty fun, but you always got to pay attention to them. Dude, I could eat 17 volatiles like back to back. Character won't even do anything. Detonate dead? I don't even know what that is. That's the biggest theme of 2017, man. Don't have to ever worry about any of those mechanics. Anything fire based, which is I guess not really too bad. Any firestorm, dude, I will gladly. Flame blasts basically heal me. So anything scary is pretty much eliminated from the game. And then my shield charge procs Elemental Equilibrium, Fortify. It's my mobility because I use Combs Roots. And then on top of that, it procs my Elemental Overload because I have crit with it. So I just keep shield charging the mob over and over. But the biggest thing is, remember how you guys earlier were talking about MTXs potentially making it look like something does more damage or the AoE feels bigger? RF is very simple. If a mob is in the circle, it's dead. If it's not in the circle, it's not taking damage. So it's just super, 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 I guess, such a perfect mechanic for me. That's why I like Blight. You just hit the target, it takes damage over time. It's a static amount, and I don't know.
I kind of like Righteous Fire too. I think it's a fun skill. I'm just, if I look back at your past Twitch history, except for the Blight build,
That's what
you were doing a lot of different builds, and then all of a sudden you just turned into this Phoenix that are constantly doing Righteous
No,
Fire.
it's
You know why?
it's even worse. It's different because he's like what do we call it, detox or something? Like he's been playing trappers for like fucking 3
Trapper, yeah,
years.
I did
The
a lot
most
of
annoying. It's like trappers and miners, dude. After that, all you want to do is just run around in circles and have
Dude,
mobs burned down by
Yes,
people.
Raiz can tell you everything, man. Breach League started, I played a trapper. I threw a trap. I was like, okay, it's on cooldown. What do I do with the 75 mobs hitting me? I was like, guys, I'm not going to play trappers until something else comes out. I was like, I play mines, but like, if you're running a 47% pack size double beyond map and your trap has a 2-second cooldown, like, what do? Like, you start, like, you're going to use like 2 6-links with 2 different traps. You're still going to go on cooldown unless you're playing Prolif. So I'm trying it out now with Tinker Skin, and hopefully it's going to be a bit better. Like, trap cooldown reduction helmet, Tinker Skin using Ice Trap with a 2-second cooldown, and then modified off of those, it's going to be like way lower. But yeah, I feel like the Blasphemy changes made me go away from casters, and then they changed it again, which makes me want to play casters again. So I don't know. I guess it was just a nice break of playing a build that gets one shot by everything to playing a character that only gets one shot by Shaper, and that's pretty much about it. Just Maze Vol Slam.
It feels really good to stack health and damage at the
Also,
same time.
This goes back to what Raiz was saying, that I feel like, I'm going to call you out, Twitch chat. A lot of the viewers don't realize this, but if you're going to go for level 100, either you have 2 options. A, you take 4.5 weeks like me and enjoy your time there and read your chat. Or B, you actually go at it seriously. And it's really difficult because, like, in the time it takes for you to read chat, look back at your character, there could be an off-screen volatile charging you, smacks you in the face, and you die. And, you know, you're going to be you're going to react a little slow if you've been on stream for like 16 hours, you know? Rolling your maps, you're like dead. You're just like, okay, I'll just, bog, triple damage mods. All right, just don't get hit. Go run it. So
I can't speak to this. Have you seen me play Righteous Fire last time? I think
I
you've
saw it, dude. I saw it. I
And you
saw-
saw how I died? Okay,
saw
so
the dirt.
basically to anybody that missed it, I picked up body cards for whatever reason. last league, and I remember I think Carve was in my chat and he was like, "Why the fuck are you picking up body cards?" And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I just kind of picked it up, and even when I was picking it up, I was like, this is so weird. Why am I picking up a body card? And then I got a set. I turned it in. It was a Shavs. So I'm like,
Wow.
okay, got a Shavs. I could play Righteous Fire now because this was during the race, right? I'm like, I can play Righteous Fire and just really focus on talking with chat while having quite decent clear speed. Like, really, really just fucking, stream really well. I was like, wow, that's a great idea. And then I was reading chat and I fucking died in a elemental weakness map because I degen down and one white skeleton hit me right when I degen down an hour after it turned off.
Yep.
I was
Oh,
just
nice.
not looking. I was like reading chat for like 10 whole seconds and I was DJing down. And the best part about it was like I reacted when I was like 2% away from my RF turning off. And if it would have turned it off, like I would have just regen and I would have been fine. But because I noticed right when it was about to turn off, I like smashed my potions. And because of that, it didn't turn off. It just like reduced the degen. So the mobs just right then hit me. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, for like 10 whole seconds, I was just looking at chat, and then I still died. So
Why were you degenning though?
Because he was in any
Because-
weeks.
SSF, by the way, and it was LA week
Oh.
map, and I needed to pay attention, but I was sleep deprived, and
Fair enough.
It wasn't that
Whole
bad.
bunch of
but
retarded.
I had a similar thing recently where I was just kind of chilling. I think I can show the clip actually. And I'm like just doing my own thing, like just having fun. And I'm like, I'm just gonna have a quick little drink of water. Nothing could go wrong. I don't know if I can show this. And yeah, people really don't appreciate the amount of. This is some professional shit I'm doing right now. Hang on. People don't appreciate the amount of like distractions which just happened. Yeah. So like basically what happened is I'll just play it like that. So that's fine. So I'm like just having a drink, doing my own thing, and reading chat, kind of whatever. Just move this over a little bit. You've got to watch it. It's really slow. It's subtle. I think a few people missed it, but hang on, let's go again. Half speed. See if you can spot it. There's a frame of instant regret.
It's a super weird way you have put it on the screen, man.
This is how professional streamers do it. Again, this is the difference between me and you lifting. It
Okay.
adds to the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm chatting. I'm having a fun time. I've already gone past it. Never mind. One more time. I've overcommitted to this joke, but fine.
what the fuck am I looking at Tarke?
I go for a drink. There you go. Subtle.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't worth it. Anyway, my point being is.
Oh, now you're eating people the whole time. I'm
Yeah.
like, where's the rip at, dude?
That water
Yeah, wait.
back there.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys know what's funny? About I was watching the Gamer for Life stuff yesterday, and lifting earlier you were asking about why do people call me the Polish rat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll run down the story real quick because this ties into what Tarke was showing, where basically there was this guy who was Russian, and people thought he was cheating because he was standing on desecrated ground fucking around with his inventory, and he got logged off at exactly 33%. And then he didn't know what the fuck was going on and why he got logged off and everything. And then obviously, since he was streaming, you could see that he, basically had an auto log, right? And a bunch of people started talking shit about him for cheating, and people found other clips of him cheating in the past and stuff like that. And I saw that. I'm like, wow, this guy's what a fucking cheater. And then he heard about that, so there's a clip of him going, yeah, fucking Polsky rat, goddamn, this mother bitch talk shit about me. So since then, I've been the Polish rat because this one guy called me a Polish rat, and we thought that was hella funny, so that's what it is. And now yesterday, I was watching Gamer for Life clips, and one of the clips was of that guy. And it was a rip clip, and the way he died was he was running through a map, and then a bunch of fucking vigor rats just like bit his ass, and he blew up.
Wait, rats?
Yeah, bit his ass, man. It felt real satisfying because he was just running through a map, and yeah, fucking rats.
I thought they
killed
were
him.
neutral. Like, even non-prophecy, like, I've never
No.
even seen the rats do anything. You're not talking about the draw.
Oh, they do a lot of
Jurassic Park?
damage. They were like
Really?
Legacy of Vigor. They just instantly killed him. Yeah, man.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
I
the
thought
rats
they
do a
didn't
lot
do
of damage. My homies respect, dude.
Frogs,
They go in.
frogs can't attack though, right?
No, they
Yeah,
attack. They.
The
frogs
frogs.
do.
I can find the fucking clip.
Dude,
There's
I want to
yeah,
see this. I want the link of this clip. I don't believe
I-
you.
man.
I
Now I'm
want the
gonna,
clip of,
I'm gonna be shaming people, man. What the
Raiz,
fuck?
do you still have that clip of you talking about the Russian guy about how his father was like Russian logout champion?
I remember that. That was good. That was good.
The midichlorians in his blood just make him a superhuman logout machine. Yeah, no. I don't think I have that anywhere. God. Yeah, but the rats attack and they do a lot of damage, and especially apparently if they have Legacy of Vigor, they really fuck you up. So just
It's such
I
a
don't
good
know.
name, the Polish rat.
The Polish rat.
Sounds like the type of person you call if you need someone assassinated. Call the Polish rat.
The rat.
Yeah,
The-
rat.
Well, what can you do?
I feel like we've covered most things in a sort of slightly more roundabout way than usual. I don't know.
Yeah.
The usual. I don't know.
We never really do go. I think we had 1 week where we went through it like really formulaic, and I was like, wow, they've really done a good job really nailing this chemistry. They've got this natural free flowing production. Like, wow, fuck that.
Like the off topics, I see somebody else is looking at that too. I
Oh,
bet it's
I was
boss.
about to ask. I was like, speaking of these topics, how come the last topic says off-topic soapboxes? If we have time, talk about sex and feelings.
Oh yeah, I didn't add that. Who added that? Yeah.
I
I don't go outside. I have nothing to speak of, so.
God. Oh yeah, something that would be in all this like, yeah, bosses have too much life and all that. Something that we talked about earlier that I kind of forgot to step in with was that Guardians feel really good now. Before, Guardians for me were like this thing that I wouldn't do. You know, no matter what, really, especially for self-found, like I just wouldn't do, because they would always feel awful because my builds would have like, you know, a certain amount of single target, but nothing too crazy. Well, now if you do like a tier 15 map or a tier 14 map and you kill the boss, it feels okay to me. And then I went to do Guardians, and the Guardians felt like a very smooth transition. There was no like huge fucking jump in power like I did before. Like people were like, "Oh, just go do Chimera," because I needed to farm the Scourge Claw, and I was like super scared of it. I'm like, "Oh, I'm probably gonna die." Even though it's kind of easy, you still need like a bunch of damage. But I went in there and I was doing damage to him, and I'm like, "Wow, what the fuck? I'm actually dealing damage," and it felt really nice. And I feel like Shaper is probably something similar. I don't know. I'll be trying it out soon. But that's one thing that I really appreciate about the HP increase, that now it feels better in terms of progression.
Much more in
Tier
line.
15 bosses were ridiculously easy before. Like you could kill Comb in less than a second with most stuff, right? But I don't think they've made Guardians easier though, right?
No, they didn't. I don't think they touched them. They just buffed the boss life, so it makes it feel more. So you scale more single target basically than you would normally.
I feel though that the jump from Guardians to Shaper is still significant. Like
Really?
really significant. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but
I would rather do Shaper than Guardians with most of my builds. I think the reason why I say that,
So
yeah, the reason why I say that though is when I'm playing my characters, they're usually built on flask uptime, and if I don't have like 100% flask uptime, my builds are significantly weaker. And on Shaper, you just try to avoid pretty much everything but his auto attack and some vortexes.
Yeah.
Whereas Guardians, if you're melee, you're probably gonna get hit.
the Guardians have like crazy map rules sometimes though, so those.
I don't
can
even
be
touch
scary
true,
as
man.
well.
It's-
mods like at all. I'm spooked, dude. Even 11k HP, man, no spot. I still don't even touch them.
I guess it's all very build dependent. As with your Raiz Fire character, Guardians should be insanely easy for you.
I mean, they are, but like the same thing. So this character has 11k HP and like pretty decent, like pretty tanky. I can hit 90% physical damage reduction. That's like 3 endurance charges, basalt, my roomies on, and I still got one shot in the beta from Olnatul, actually one shot me,
Okay.
or insta gift me, I guess you could say. So I have like PTSD against any boss now. I don't know what it is, man. He did like that crystal shatter explosion thing and just 11k HP or 10.5k dead instantly. So I'm just like spooked, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just a little bitch.
I hate that about PoE. That
Yeah,
happens where you're like you died to something super basic, like you've done a million times, but one time you fucking died to it, and now you're obsessed about it. Like you're always
Dude, you
scared.
get PTSD, man. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not touching it. I will not. If I see him in a breach, I just run him. Like, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna get anything off him. I don't want to randomly get hit for 11K. Any type of shotgun, dude, I don't even touch with it. Like, I'm just like, it's not fun to me. Because like when you die, you want to learn how to improve your character, right? But like, there's nothing to improve if you just should have been in that box instead of this box. So I guess I just get scared of those.
One
Speaking
shot
of
just doesn't feel good either.
the scary stuff in maps, how do you guys feel real quick about warding flasks negating every single curse now?
I hope it stays. I really like
Insanely
it.
powerful.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I
my
like it.
God.
Absolutely insane.
that
It's
so
changed. I was
confused
like,
at
is
first.
this? I thought for sure there was gonna be a hot fix. Like, this is not how it's meant to work.
They still
but
haven't
hey,
made
I
an
mean,
official statement on it, which I think they're like, they either just don't care or they're still deciding whether they like it or not.
I don't think it was intended because the way it displays is so weird, right? Like unless you look at your stats, you can't really tell. Because it always, even if you have the warding up, you're still cursed.
Yeah, you still have the visuals of it.
It's still visually,
okay.
you're still visually cursed. So I don't feel like it was intended, but at the same time, it's kind of a good change.
I kind of like it too. Gives
Yeah.
more power to the player, and yeah, I really like it. But it's so powerful. Being able to turn
I
it.
always really liked like the way you could run elemental weakness maps if you were running a wise oak. Then you wouldn't have to overcap, but it had that sense of danger to it, right? Because if you fuck up and you don't have your uptime, then yeah, you're surely going to die. And this is kind of the same thing. Yeah, you can run a vulnerability temp change elemental weakness map with uncapped resistances, but if your flask drops up for a second, you're gonna die. But it's still fun to do, and most likely you're gonna be doing it because, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna be able to keep your flask up 24/7.
Yeah, that was one thing I was just about to say. So like on my current character, I'm like roughly like 8 under and 7 under on fire and lightning from Ellie weak cap. So it feels really nice. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'll basically have it up all the time. And okay, if it does fall off, I'm sort of playing like a minus max map. And you actually think about it a bit more. I always found the like Ellie weak gearing was something you just kind of had to do, and it made. Like, there are some builds where you really want to run like a particular set amount of uniques, and it puts so much strain on the rest of your gear that now it actually opens up a lot of like flexibility in terms of gearing and stuff, which I really like. And when you do die to it, it's like, I fucked up. You're not gonna be, you're not gonna feel angry about it because it's like, yeah, no, that was your fail. You could have gone around it.
Yeah, exactly. But it does sound like it's unintentional.
Oh, it was definitely like unintentional because it wasn't mentioned anywhere. I think what probably happened is like it's something which snuck through. They've realized that actually a lot of people like it, and it's really one of those things where they like, have the odd discussion on it, and some people in the team really like it, some people are kind of on the fence, and I'm assuming that's why they haven't mentioned it yet. But I really hope that it sticks around.
really nice.
I think the only thing which is kind of bad against it is you could say that it makes the game even harder to read to a new player because it is so counterintuitive. Especially...
I actually feel it's the other way around.
Yeah, I agree with lifting.
Oh,
like, it
I
feels
guess
very intuitive.
If they fix the visual thing, then I would agree, because it's one of those things of like, I'll go on Baeclast, yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think they're ever gonna fix it because they have unique interactions. Like there's boots that say like while on shock ground, burn ground, this ground you get etc. buff, and if you don't have the icon, it's hard to tell if you're in the ground, for example. But I see what you mean. GG has been, they're not really super good at conveying information or like releasing it, but like they do have their gigantic, what is it? They're like instruction manual now in the game or something, like the tutorial. I need to make a YouTube video on it.
Yeah, because it's so much,
pages.
Though. Like it's funny because for another developer, if you're like playing Diablo 3, fucking compiling patch notes is like a matter of 15 minutes. For GGG, it's like multiple days of fucking 3,000 lines, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're gonna forget some things. I mean, shit.
I'm always when the patch notes come out, I want to make a video where I go over them, and I always dread these patch notes. And then the last time when it came out, it was just like fucking 10 A4 pages of patch notes, and you just. Fuck! I have to
show
read
video.
everything.
I need to complain actually. I got so fucking triggered by those patch notes. So I'd made every time oh fuck, okay. So throughout the entire beta, I'd been making videos reacting to like every single change, every single thing. They then like released this like 15-page monolith with only like 2 or 3 new things in it. So in my like reaction video to the final patch notes, I just like covered the 1 or 2 new things, said the things that I liked, said the things I was a little bit disappointed about, and people were like, oh my god, Tarke, you're so lazy. Other streamers have uploaded 2-hour-long. I'm like, they just imported their fucking Twitch VOD, you cunt. What is lazier? What is lazier? To just import your Twitch VOD, or for me to make a separate video with some... I was like just rage incarnate for like a fucking week, man.
You do the right thing, though. Like, the worst thing for me are all the fucking people who are like, I didn't play since last league. Could you give me a quick summary of the patch notes? It's like, dude.
Nope.
It's like fucking 20 pages of shit. What do you mean give you a quick summary? Or like, yeah, it's just impossible. Like, what do you think about the patch notes? Like, which part of them? 1 out of 100? Like, what the fuck? What do you want me to do?
Raiz,
There's no way I can answer this.
Didn't you put in your title like reading patch notes for 6 hours or something when it came out? I was like, how long are these patch notes?
I mean, I did read them for like 6 hours.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. The only thing I didn't like about the way they like released it is, as a person who played beta like the whole time, I had no clue what actually changed.
Yeah.
Because like 80% of the changes were already changed in beta, and I read them like Essence Strain got buffed again. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what?
And some of them
Seems like it's doing good finally.
Like for instance, we didn't have. They like refused to give us patch notes in the beta, but there were a lot of changes that we didn't know about. For instance, apparently the change to SRS, the 15% nerf, was already in the beta.
Yeah.
We just didn't know about it, and then they released it in the patch notes, and people are like, "Wait, so when did this happen?" Because I did notice SRS was weaker, but then we didn't know how much, and now is it happening? Like, I don't know. That was pretty...
like 80% of the patch notes was already done in beta. So.
Yeah.
I think what they should do in the future is just have it would be so easy to do, just like the top bit, here are the new changes, and then here are all the beta. Like that's how like nearly every other game does their notes and stuff.
Yeah, but then I feel like maybe players would be like, you know, wait, there was a beta? Like, oh, people already played this content? Oh, like people already know about this and I didn't know any of these things. They have an advantage.
Oh,
like,
fuck off!
Really crazy about that, where they don't want the advantage.
No, they can. Those people can just straight up drink bleach. Like the amount of like there was so much though.
That's like 90% of the player base.
No,
though.
but like no, literally like Raiz. It was a case of 95% of the player base were doing this thing of like, I saved myself. I didn't ruin myself by playing the beta. So like, you know, get off your high horse. And then the other guys are kind of like, oh, look at you, Mr. Tryhard, playing the beta. And it's like, pick a side. Like, what are you doing? Like, I think it's unfair how people, you know, have an advantage. But at the same time, I actually think this is amazing because I kept myself pure. And, you know, because I kept myself pure, I think every change is a good change. Like, the amount of people saying you can't complain. The only reason you're complaining is because you've, like, played the game. And then it's just like, you know... I think you should take a break. I think you've been spoiled by, like, I literally had a dude, like, say that I should have gone on holiday for, like, a month. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I love how we say, like, you say this stuff, but then earlier, when you said, I think you said, like, oh, I was getting called an idiot, and Pohx was like, yep, that's life. It's like, yeah, the streamer life is getting called an idiot, but then we have to deal with people like that. Like, what the fuck? I kept it pure. Like, come on, dude.
Did you see Alkaiser's video this morning? Like, that was beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
That's like every 5 minutes of a streamer's life.
Yeah.
Playing Blight has been really bad because of the new gloves. Every question, are you using the new gloves? Yes. Then while leveling, why didn't you equip them yet? I can't equip them until 69. Are you going to use the new gloves? Yes. Why haven't you equipped them yet? I can't use them until 69. It's just like, fuck.
You know what I've been doing? I've been pulling up like Night Dev and Nightbot and looking at like popular commands being used in my channel, and it's like !RF has been used 1,800 times this week. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's a hot topic.
Yeah.
That's a hot topic. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like the best part is if you go to Mathil's channel, and it's like whenever I go to Mathil's stream, I always within the first like two minutes, I always hear the same thing. Somebody asks a question, and he goes, "Just look at the fucking screen." Like,
Well,
his answers
there's
are
a lot
like
of
always.
mobile users. If you're on mobile, you can't see the screen.
I can
Right?
see the screen on
And then,
mobile. I
like-
was actually so surprised yesterday for like I haven't used the Twitch app in forever. Yesterday I used it again. I was like, wow, this is all
It's nice.
You can see
Yeah.
everything.
Got updated, so you can like move the screen around and like the chat's better. It's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
it's sick.
That's
But
like
to
my
be fair,
number one
I would rather
trigger.
have. Sorry.
No, you go, nerd bro. It's much just a trigger story.
I would honestly really or rather have people ask me questions, and then they get to enjoy their time and they feel like, hey, this is a nice place where I can get help. I want to hang out here. Then get triggered every time they ask a
But you're a
question.
teacher.
Yeah.
Like you were teaching, right? So
I guess.
yeah, you
I
have
guess that
that. You have
helps.
that built-in patience. Like
Yeah.
I might have been streaming for 4 years now, but I will never develop patience for it.
It's different though. Like I actually did teach for a while. Like I taught like ages 8 to 11 for 2 summers, and it was fine. Like it's just I think
It
the
was
thing which
fine,
is-
but they're all dead now. Yeah.
No, like legit, it was fine. I think the difference is it's one of those things of sometimes you go like I know Pohx definitely has this. Where you go, you know what? I'm going to be mature. I don't want to rage quit today. I'm going to be in a really good mood. I'm going to set up all of these pre-made commands. I'm going to have all the text on the screen. I am going to provide every single piece of information. I'm going to give you all the guides. People go, okay, so I watched the YouTube video muted and I'm asking this question. I'm staring at the screen but not reading the screen, asking you questions on the screen. And it's like, oh my god, like, bro. Like,
Really? You want to know what I found out? I found out that if you do that, then you actually set expectations for people to follow. Like you actually think, and I agree too, right? That people would watch the videos. I mean, it has 170K views, right? And they're reading the screen, but they don't. So if you don't ever do it, then you expect for them to ask you questions. So then it's okay. That's what I've noticed.
yeah.
Well, also, I mean, you gotta be kind of forgiving because besides
yeah,
the
of
whole
course.
mobile thing, like there's people entering your chat every few seconds.
Every second.
And so
Yeah.
what happens is if there's a conversation going on, like you're talking to your chat about X topic, and then in their head they're like, oh, X topic, I have a question about that. Like they want to just ask you as the topic is still being discussed, and they might not look at the screen. So
Yeah, exactly.
I actually have a funny clip, the Pohx command in my chat. It's a link where a guy asks you about an essence, and then you just like instantly ban him.
Probably.
We're looking like this new guy, like, and then we look
That's
at
the
chat,
Pohx
we're
we
like-
know from Reddit.
We're like, wait a minute. This guy is like super. He's like, hey Pohx, quick question. How do I buy this essence? And you're like, you know what? That's it. You're getting
There's-
10 minutes. An insta ban. I was like,
There's
holy
usually
shit.
some context going on behind these. That's why. There's usually like, there's times when stream gets pretty trolly, right? I'll be like, all right, guys, I know a bunch of you new guys are asking about these essences, and they try to act new, They put like, hello, Mr. Broadcaster, I'm brand new to your channel, and I just want to know how, what essences do I need? But I'll know the name, and I can tell if it's another person doing it. So to make an example, I think it's very important to put them on blast and give them a little 10-minute timeout, and it's okay. The older me, I was a little more aggressive. I will definitely agree to, but I think it's okay. I think it's fun to switch up your stream personality every so often. Because like it's whatever, like people forgive you.
I think it's hilarious. I was just like, holy shit.
I've had times, man, dude. I've had times when I've banned like 25 people, 30 people, like in like 20 seconds. I'm just like, if you call me a retard right now, you're getting banned. Retard, ban. Like, it's unban all in like a month. It's okay. So it gets more attention overall.
No offense, Pohx, but for whatever reason you like really draw in these people.
Oh
like,
no, I do. I really, dude. I egg it off myself.
like when you go offline, like if we're streaming at the same time and you go offline, I'm scared because these people go to me, and like I know instantly when two things happen: when Pohx goes offline and when Ziz goes offline. I instantly know because the crowd of people coming in. That's a very specific time. Just like, oh shit, gotta back out a little bit.
I don't know, man. I don't know what it is.
Sex and feelings.
Oh,
That's what it was.
One
Off
quick
topics.
thing, just for us for the stream. You guys notice like when you stream, the performance in PoE takes a small hit, right? At least a small hit. Like it doesn't feel like when you're playing off stream.
Yeah.
Now that Twitch has upped the bitrate cap for everyone to 6K, the NVENC encoder is amazing. It takes all the load. If you have a NVIDIA GPU, it takes all the load off your CPU, and there's no stutter whatsoever. It's like perfect, no lag, no matter what kind of build you're playing. Highly recommend trying it out. It's
Wait,
crazy how good it is. Like in your OBS, if you go to settings and then in like the output or whatever, right now you probably have X264. If you're using your your CPU, if you do the drop-down box and you choose NVENC, it uses your NVIDIA graphics card to do the encoding, and so there's zero hit on your CPU. The game is like perfectly smooth, no lag, no stutter when you're streaming. It's crazy how good it is. It's truly like changed streaming.
I didn't know they increased the bitrate limit though. When did that happen?
The bitrate limit was never there.
It was
The
3,500.
bitrate limit was never there. It's just
really
Twitch.
Did they yell at
Twitch
you, though,
advertises
Raiz?
it. What?
Oh. Well, now they advertise 6K instead of 3,500. So.
But it was never there. People were streaming at 200,000 bitrate before.
Yeah.
It's just that it was
200,000.
blowing up Twitch, so they're always like, "Hey guys, there's a limit." There was no limit.
They yelled at me when I was streaming on 5K. I was like, man, I upgraded my internet, put it on 5K. Excuse me, Mr. Broadcaster, I'm going to have to ask you to turn down your bitrate settings. It's a little too high right now.
Yep. Yep. But technically there was no limit. It's just,
Right.
people would go overboard about it.
Yeah, it's super nice. Definitely try it out for a stream. I think you'll definitely notice your gameplay being like 10 times better, and people watching will be like, "Oh man, this is."
I love
This
this
is
PoE
juicy.
podcast. So
Dude,
how do you
that's
guys
PoE
shave your
podcast, yeah.
nutsack?
Anyways,
Hand-
sorry,
hand
I just
plucker.
wanted to mention that because it's like, I mean, like for people watching you, right? It's like they want the most smooth